Time Warner Cable Sports Channel presents the 38th Annual Kensington Lions Club All-Star Classic as the senior class of 2013 prepares to square out for one last summertime finale. It's the North versus the South here at Orchard Park High School in Orchard Park, New York. Well, a beautiful day to spend at a beautiful place. A look at Yates Park right here in nearby Orchard Park, New York. And what a beautiful day it is in Western New York. Hello again, everybody, alongside my broadcast partner, Sean Brusso. My name is David Miller. Mike Scott will be joining us a little later to patrol the sidelines. Well, 38 years in a row, and this has become quite the Western New York tradition.
Absolutely, Dave. It is one of the best events in Western New York. Everybody looks forward to it. We don't know if it's really the end of high school football season from the 2012 season or the kickoff for 2013, but a great event with a lot of tradition. In fact, both coaches that we'll see tonight from the North squad, Craig Krasinski, and for the South squad, Tim Delaney, have played in this game too, so a game means a lot to them and a lot to a lot of people in Western New York.
Obviously, on the big stage like this, there's no shortage of talent. Well, let's start with the North.
Certainly, yeah. Their passing game is going to be outstanding. They got some great guys in the offensive skill position, starting at the quarterback position with Trent Ferguson from Williamsville South and Mike Cirillo from Sweet Home. Those guys can really throw the football around, and they have some weapons. Boy, do they ever. Shaq Nettles, wide receiver from Williamsville South, Denzel Benton from Canisius, James Chambers from Lockport, Ian Gilhausen from North Tonawanda, just to name a few. They have a plethora of receivers to throw the ball to, and that should lead to an exciting night in Coach Krasinski's high-octane passing offense.
Well, if you expect the North to do a lot of passing, I think the opposite would apply to the South. They've got some really seriously good running backs.
Yeah, and it starts in that backfield with that two-headed monster, Andy Smagera from West Seneca East. Not only was he an all-Western New York all-state football player, but he was the Section 6 100-meter champion, so he can fly, especially on this fast surface here at Orchard Park. And next to him, well, doesn't hurt to have the Connolly Cup winner and Corey Barsakowski from Alden on your side there. So that read option, and again, Coach Delaney of South Park, you know, from the South squad, they like to spread it out. They like to run the ball, but they like to throw it too. You're going to see two exciting high-octane offenses tonight.
It is a very, very warm day in Western New York, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff coming up in just a moment. North versus South here in Western New York next on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. back at Orchard Park High School, where it is literally standing room only for the 38th annual Kensington Lions Club All-Star Game. And there's a good look at referee Matt Palma as we just about ready to get things going. The white squad representing the South has won the coin toss, and they elect to receive as you get a look at the rest of tonight's officiating crew.
Yeah, Matt Palma, the head official umpire, Brian Madej, and you see guys, Paul Gagliardi, some of the top names in Western New York high school officiating are on this, well, All-Star Classic. As you see Mike Wierzeniak from Maryville back there to return the kick, Shaquille Brooks from Lackawanna, and Nick Anderson from JFK.
Opening kickoff goes to the near sideline, and it's Field, and the South has possession. Out to the 20-yard line, to the 30-yard line, and knocked out of bounds right around the 31-yard line. That's where the South will start their first offensive possession. Yeah,
a couple guys there that are not really well known around Western New York because they played at smaller schools. That was Nick Anderson from JFK on the return. A very strong season for JFK, 7-2 this year, one of the better seasons they've had in previous years. As you take a look at the replay here, and Shaq Brooks from Lackawanna, Mike Wierzeniak, and if you know, not a lot of people have heard of Mike Wierzeniak from Maryville. They kind of had a down year last year, but I'll tell you what, fortunate he can play in the game because he is something special. And if you don't believe me, go to YouTube and watch his highlights because he might be one of the best athletes in Western New York.
Number 11, Andy Smigera from West Seneca East High School getting the start at quarterback for the South. He's in the shotgun. The snap comes back. A swing pass to the near side out to the 35-yard line and brought down right about there after a modest gain of a couple of yards on the play. Smigera, one of the better quarterbacks in Western New York this season, passed for 1,189 yards, and he also ran for another 745.
And he can run. That is his best attribute. I mean, he can throw, too. And you see they wanted to get the ball to their playmakers early. Stephon Johnson from McKinley, one of the better players in Western New York from last season. Very great player. And, you know, again, they're going to try to get the ball in the athletes' hands nice and early. So, obviously, like we said, we're going to see some fireworks here. Both of these coaches love to sling the ball around. In fact, Coach Delaney worked with Craig Krasansky on the St. Mary's staff a couple years ago when Coach Krasansky was there.
Second down and 8. Smigera in the shotgun. Takes it, hands it off to Barsakowski. His hand hit the ground. Might have lost his footing just a little bit. And that'll bring up 3rd and long for the South.
Yeah, great season, too. Again, Corey Barsakowski for Alden last year. Very strong, very solid, 11-1 record, losing to Maine Enwell, who kind of turned out to be a buzzsaw and went on to win the Class B state championship. But a very, very solid running back and a easily, well, defined as the best football player in West New York, winning the Connolly Cup last season.
And not many defenders could stop that young man right there. Barsakowski rushing for 2,136 yards. He was the Section 6 leader, and he was also 3rd in Section 6 with 27 touchdowns. Smigera back in the shotgun, 3rd and long, tucks it away, comes to the near side. He's going to be grabbed and dragged out of bounds, way short of the first down.
On the scramble,
it is a 3 and out for the South, and head coach Tim Delaney. They'll be forced to kick it away.
Yeah, great pursuit from Casey Nutrino. Now, there's some rules that are going to take place in the game, as you saw Coach Delaney here. You can see Smigera, he's going to tuck, he's going to run, and Nutrino, great job, stays on his back foot. All right, and just took a great pursuit angle. Teams have to play a 4-3 defense here. No blitzing until you get inside the 5-yard line. And as Casey Nutrino explained it to me earlier this week on the radio, all bets are off once you get inside that 5-yard line there. So
almost looked like Nutrino was shadowing Smigera. He had his eye on him the whole way, dragged him out of bounds. And they will kick it away. It's Smigera. His punt blocked down at the 15-yard line. Picked up, lifted, touchdown for the North. That's Khalil Somerville.
Well, that's certainly an interesting start. You know, a little different on the punt formation there. They only had Smigera about 7 yards behind center. And Khalil Somerville is one of the more physical defensive linemen coming out of Western New York last year from Bennett High School. And he is just a machine. And he just bull rushed right through the A-gap between the guard and the center, blew up the personal protector, and blocked Smigera's punt. And now I understand why he's at 7 yards in that punt depth. Usually when you think about punt, they're back at about 12 yards. But they're giving him that illusion that, hey, it's an all-star game. He can take off and run anytime he wants. That time, well, that's kind of the risk-reward part of that. But a great start for this North squad. Sort of here, they're looking for one more. But yeah, Somerville is one of the players I wanted to highlight coming into this thing because he is just a machine on that defensive line, and you can see why there.
They're going to go for the extra point here. Number 9, Deshaun Harmon out of Burgard. They just swarm Smigera, the punter. The kick is up, splits the uprights, it's good. And the North squad opens up a 7-0 lead. Just 1 minute, 53 seconds into this classic.
And if you take a look at the replay here, Somerville just right through, gets his hand up, blocks it, and hey, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? And Tykeer Riley's and 4 North guys kind of swarmed around it, and again, just a great play, Cleo Somerville. You see Alec Deach in there, and again, just a great job from Cleo Somerville.
It was Somerville who blocked the punt and then finished the job by crossing the goal line.
Scoop and score, baby.
Scoop and score.
So, you got 6'2", 285 pounds there out of Bennett High School, and
has the luxury of playing at All High Stadium in the shadows of Bennett High School on a regular field, as many of the city school kids do. A beautiful facility out there in Buffalo.
First class, absolutely. They have 3 just tremendous fields there. Charlie Dingboom Field at Riverside High School is just a beautiful venue for high school football, and of course, All High Stadium that we mentioned, Johnny B. Wiley. You saw there's Corey Barsakowski. He'll be back to return the kick this time. A couple different return men back there now. It looked like Stephon Johnson is back there, and it appears that Eduardo Barros from South Park High School back there. So a little bit of a rotating stable of kick return men for the South squad.
Set to kick it away, the man who just split the uprights with the extra point, number 9, Deshaun Harmon, and that is a pretty good start for head coach Craig Kurzanski and the team representing the North. Kurzanski and his staff from Williamsville South patrolling the far sidelines here at Orchard Park High School. The kick is away to the 15-20, out to the 25, and brought down right around the 26-yard line. So that's where the second possession for the South will start. A pretty decent return there from Duran Adams.
Good coverage on the North squad. Austin Meats got downfield very quickly from Akron. Again, a player that, because he plays in Akron, and he's kind of off of the normal grid there, being out in Akron. Not a lot of people get a chance to go out and watch a lot of Akron football. But I'll tell you what, the kid is a phenomenal athlete. Akron had probably the best team in Western New York not to make the playoffs this season. They were in C North, and Austin Meats was a big part of it. Everybody that I've talked to has raved about that kid.
That return not from Adams, but number 18, Edgardo Barrios, as Schmagera in the shotgun takes it. The reverse to the opposite side. This is Shaquille Brooks. Couldn't quite get the corner. He's brought down for a loss of about 5 on the play.
And a guy, I'm going to tell you what, this is the guy you want to watch in this game, Alec Deach from Clarence. I've heard his name from a couple years ago, and they'd mentioned that he is just a phenomenal football player. And you can see, again, great discipline. Son of a coach. In fact, his father, Brad Deach, is one of those coaches on the South squad, coaching with Craig Kurzanski.
Glad you said son of a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But Alec Deach is son of Brad Deach. Brad Deach and Craig Kurzanski coached together at North Tonawanda under Eric Jancy's first staff in the 2000-2001 seasons. Brad Deach was Coach Jancy's defensive coordinator before Rick Tom.
They move the ball to the far side of the field. Hash mark. Schmagera back to pass. Tucks it away. Has nowhere to go, so he launches it out in first down territory. It's caught, and that's a first down for the South. What a great toss there from Schmagera.
Oh, just a tremendous throw. It's Stephon Johnson, a great athlete, and Schmagera, again, scramble drill rules here. Get outside, and Johnson came across on that late dig route, and Schmagera, again, we know him for his legs. We know him for his running ability. He had a tremendous season at West Seneca East. West Seneca East 9-1 this year, only losing to Sweet Home in the sectional title. But what a great catch along the sideline. And
pretty good coverage from number 5, too. Sean Marshall was all over Johnson, but Schmagera with a little pitch and catch on the roll, and that's a first down for the South. Schmagera again swings it out in the flat, caught, brought down, and then run out of bounds was number 10, Scott Ackerman, out of West Seneca East High School.
Yeah, his number 1 target to throw the ball to this year in this past high school football season. And always that's going to be the fun part, watching him throw the ball to Ackerman, but then watching Trent Ferguson throw the ball to Shaq Nettles, because you have that teammate to teammate connection is already implored there, and you're just comfortable with them. You're down with your timing. And it makes a big difference to be able to be on the same page with a wide receiver.
Ackerman having a big season in his own right, 607 receiving yards. And, of course, Andy Schmagera, his quarterback at West Seneca East. Handoff right up the middle, brought down just short of the first down. It's going to bring up third and a short one as Barsakowski bowls his way forward, as we've seen him do so many times this season.
Oh, he's a load, and he runs the ball hard. He's going to go to ECC and play, and just a phenomenal football player, both sides of the ball for Alden this last year. And, again, over 2,200 yards rushing, and just a load, and, not a bad option here with and again, we talked about that two-headed monster. Now you got Barsakowski and Schmagera. Who's going to get the football here? Third and short.
Schmagera directing traffic. from the shotgun, hands it off to Barsikowski, outside in, brought down for a short loss, but it's not the loss that will concern the head coaching staff from the South, Tim Delaney and his boys, but the fact that it brings up 4th down.
Yeah, Dylan Hall got in there from St. Joe's, and Tykeer Rollins got in there, Niagara Falls product. They had that play stuffed out, just a little power play inside, and you know, again, they pursued the ball well. So now you got a situation here. You lost 2 yards. You got a 4th down and a very long 3. It's an all-star game, but do you want to give the North, who's got some very, very explosive weapons on the offense, the ball on the 50-yard line and in? It looks like that the offense is going to remain on the field for now.
And Barsikowski this time is going to line up behind Smigera in the eye from the shotgun. It brings up a 4th down and a short 3. Smigera barking out the signals, hangs onto it, looks for a man open, can't find anything, tucks it away, flushed out of the pocket. Now tries to launch it downfield. He's got a man! It's caught! 1st down South. And once again, it's Stephen Thompson.
That's all I can really say after that one. What a play. And again, that's the dynamic playmaking ability about Smigera. How about to have the poise? He had nothing there. You can obviously, they're spying him on the run. I mean, that's obviously #1 on the South game play. He gets his body turned around, gets his feet planted, sets it, and then what a catch by Johnson, again, who's one of the more elite athletes in Western New York, to go up and catch that pass. You know, I mean, look at this. He's looking to run. He's got the ball in his offhand.
Pretty good defense here, too. Look at number 4.
Yeah.
That's Dion Lewis in his back pocket, then in his face as he turned around, and Johnson comes down with it. The second catch that Johnson has made in good coverage today, and both have led to 1st downs.
Wow.
That's a 34-yard gain for the South.
That's unbelievable.
Smigera fakes the, no, gives the handoff to Barsikowski off the right side of the line. He'll pick up about 4 on the play.
Khalil Somerville in on that tackle from the North squad. And, you know, hey, I was just about to say, I mean, how can you not go back to this last play here, that both of these coaches, they like to coach exciting. They like to coach exciting offenses. Coach Delaney very well. The smart play on every coaching book card says punt the ball, but he says, you know what, hey, it's an all-star game. We got some athletes. Let's have some fun and make some plays.
I wouldn't have punted the ball.
I probably would have.
I'm not just saying
I probably would.
Hindsight. Not with Smigera and Barsikowski in the backfield. 4th and 2 is nothing. But then again, they picked it up in the air and not on the ground. Smigera handoff to Barsikowski again off the left side of the line. Ducks back inside. He's going to be brought down pretty close to a 1st down inside the 10-yard line. That should be good for a 1st.
It's a good 5 yards here, and it looks like Coach Delaney's going to go bring in some, a couple bigger guy here. So we'll see what he does. He's got 12 in the huddle right now, and he's just going to kind of go with some personnel adjustments here.
How do you coach a game like this? Bring kids together from all over Western New York and make sure you've got 11 players on the field?
It's certainly interesting. I love this formation. Look at this. I'll go into detail about that in a minute.
We got a couple of wings and an eye back. That's Barsikowski up the middle off the left tackle, and he's brought down inside the 5-yard line, just short of the goal line. They'll mark it right around the 3.
And I'll tell you what, here's the deal with that. Again, having to be in a 4-3 defense, right now you got 8 in the box in the offense. So with that 7 guys, if they were to walk up to an 8, you have one-on-one with your receivers on the outside. There you have a numbers advantage on the inside. Everybody is accounted for because you have those 2 lead blockers in the backfield. They have to play a 7-man box up until they get inside the 5-yard line. So they have a numbers advantage of giving the ball to Corey Barsikowski on that last play. Great formation. I love it.
The South trailing by a score of 7-0. Again, 3 men in the backfield. Smigera takes the snap, hands it off to Barsikowski. He's met at the line of scrimmage and dragged down. No gain on the play. As a matter of fact, if anything, there may be a modest loss on the play for Barsikowski.
And I'll tell you what, here's the thing that's going to be a factor tonight. Okay, you're going to look at, you can see Barsikowski's double over there, a little out of little out of breath here. It's a very warm and humid night, and you got basically they're playing 15-minute quarters. These guys are used to playing 12-minute quarters, so it's going to be a long game. And the fact that the North hasn't been on offense yet.
2nd down and goal. Smigera forced out of the pocket, rolls right, throws to the end zone, touchdown! Once again, it's Smigera that jumps in, and the South is on the board.
Well, again, hey, why not? Get Smigera out of the pocket, let him throw on the run, and you can see he's got a great arm, very accurate too, and just throws a tremendous football. And what a great catch to Stephon Johnson. And, again, when you have athletes like that, again, with Johnson on the one side, Shaq Brooks on the other side from Lackawanna, that's a matchup nightmare. I don't care, again, all-stars are all-stars, good players, but no matter what level you're at, that's a matchup nightmare. especially with that kid in the pocket.
Tom Gola from Timon St. Jude High School kicks the extra
John
point.
Jay with the extra point ties the game.
The uprights, and it's 7-7. Good look there at Smagera. Steven Johnson. No relation to Stevie Johnson of the Buffalo Bills.
No, but I'll tell you what, I take that kid in a heartbeat. You know, he's the real deal. Nicest kid you'll ever meet, too. Just a tremendous nice kid. I had a chance to coach him at a camp last year. Just such a nice kid. And nice throw. And again, just fundamentals. Just thinking about being fundamentally sound. Goes up, has great elbow bend, catches the ball, looks it in, stares it in, tucks it in. And that's an all-star who makes that play. He could have gotten with a little flash, gotten a little lazy, caught it with his chest. No, he got through with the fundamentals. That's the type of kid he is. And that's why he's a tremendous success and a very good football player.
Johnson has 3 catches on the day, 2 for first downs, 1 for 34-yard gain, and that one for a touchdown.
Yeah, again, there's Coach Delaney. He's gonna, they like to have a little fun on offense. They are very, very smart in the passing game. Him and Coach Brzezinski, and it's nice talking football with them and learning from them because they have a pretty good handle. Now we'll see what the North does too with some of their athletes. That should be some fun fireworks on that side of the ball as well.
Smagera, number 11 in white, ready to kick it away. That man right there, number 23, James Chambers Jr., and he is oh so dangerous. Going to be fielded for the North, and they'll call it a touchback, so the North will start with the ball on the 20. The North team represented right there in their navy blue uniforms with the white numbers and letters, and of course the South in their predominantly white uniforms and red numbers and letters, listed as the home team here on the scoreboard today. 7-7 our score.
Remember that guy's name, James Chambers, out of Lockport High School. Might be one of the more explosive players in this game. 7 touchdowns in a game against Niagara Falls this year and scored them every which way. Had a punt return, had a kick return, had a pick 6 for a touchdown, had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, caught a touchdown, and ran a touchdown in that game. I don't think you can score really any other way. Maybe on a block punt recovery.
All right, after the touchback, North goes on offense for the first time. They have 7 points, but that was courtesy of the block punt and the subsequent touchdown. So a pass in the flat intended for Nettles dropped.
Here's what's great about that, too. What was the first play of the game that the South ran? They ran that little jailbreak screen to the X-receiver. North coach, same play on their first play. You tell that these guys are pretty similar in mind thinking offensively. Taking a look at some of the players there. Troy Studd out of Springville High School is or Tyler Studd, rather, I apologize for his brother. Tyler Studd, 15 sacks, was first-team All-State Class B last year. Jason Bunk from Alden, he's going to be playing at UB this fall.
Trent Ferguson, the quarterback, wearing number 6 out of Williamsville South. Throws one out on the flats. I believe it was caught, indeed. Gain of about 4 on the play. Shaq Nettles on the receiving end of that pitch and catch.
Yeah, and he actually played his freshman and sophomore year for Coach Delaney at, and I believe junior year too, played for Coach Delaney at South Park before moving to the Williamsville area. Another just tremendous, tremendous football player.
Third down and call it a short 6 in the shotgun. Ferguson back to pass, launches one short, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, they were looking for Justin Slango out of Wilson High School to throw him the football, and South came out with, or the North came out rather with an empty look. And they tried to throw the ball inside there and see quick release from Ferguson, and just a little too quick. Slango just got to the sticks there and missed it, so the North is going to go 3 and out with their first possession.
All right, we've got 4th and long. Ferguson still on the field, so they're going to go for it. From their own 22-yard line, they'll try for the first down. A little bit of movement.
Yeah, and it looked like Studd just kind of penetrated the zone a little too quick. Hard count on the punt. And
I don't think that'll give him a first down, but it sure makes life a little easier.
It will.
Oh, they are moving the chains. Indeed, that is a first down on the penalty. Let's go downstairs to Mike Scott. We'll check in with Mike on the field in just a moment. So again, Ferguson in the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it off, dropped in the backfield for a loss of about 2 is Justin Slango out of Wilson. Now let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Mike Scott.
Thanks, Dave. I'm down on the field with an unlikely scorer, Khalil Somerville, who blocked that punt and returned it for a touchdown. Take us through the play.
I just went with it.
Were you surprised that they punted? You look surprised when it hit you in the shoulder.
Yeah, just a real surprise.
Was it tough to find the football after it hit you?
Yeah.
But once you got it, were you sure you were going to get in the end zone? What's it like to be selected for this game?
A great honor.
All right, thanks, Khalil. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Back to you, Dave.
Second down and about 12 after the loss on first down. And again, trapped right at the line of scrimmage was number 21, Justin Slango, out of Wilson High School, the 5'10", 175-pounder that's headed to Erie Community College.
And you can see there Chris Finney out of Springville High School got up there to make that play. And Dave, you and I had the luxury of being able to do a few Springville games this past season. And with all the great storylines, Chris Finney was right at the forefront of it, one of the leaders of that team. Tremendous linebacker. And you look at him, he's very undersized, only at about 165 pounds, but playing middle linebacker. Very intelligent player, very smart, pursues the ball relentlessly. Everything you want in a linebacker.
Third down and 11, ball on the near hash mark. Ferguson takes the snap in the shotgun. Lobs one up, he's got a receiver. Oh, and he comes down with it. That is Shaq Nettles. First down and more as they move the chains and also move the ball inside South territory.
So it's kind of, I mean, other than the blocked punt, I mean, you really kind of had the same thing. You had a great jump ball, picks up 37 yards, you know, just kind of chucked it up. The South had that too. You had the jailbreak screens early. I mean, it's kind of, you know, again, you can see the similarities in it, and it's going to make for an exciting football game. We're still only here in the first quarter, and you've had a jam-packed action.
That was thrown into triple coverage. It turned out to be triple coverage, but the man that had the best shot at it was number 35 in white, Jonathan Thomas out of Cleveland Hill. But Shaq Nettles just went up to get it. This time the handoff goes to the left side. That's James Chambers.
And he got off that left edge really quick. And, you know, again, you could talk about the explosive playmaking ability of Chambers. I remember watching him play Lancaster as a junior, and he had returned 2 long kicks for a touchdown. It made a game that was seemingly a blowout, a very close game in the fourth quarter. And, you know, I just keep a note on that kid, and, man, he was the real deal.
Second down and 3 on the play. Ferguson takes the snap, hands it off, outside to the inside. Chambers is going to pick up the first down. They'll move the chains, and they'll be brought down right around the 21-yard line.
And, you know, again, it could be very content with that. Again, the South was starting to kind of drop back and play some very loose coverage, and, you know, linebackers are kind of flying out there, so they're going to be setting up some play-action passes, and, you know, moving the ball with Chambers, too, is never a bad option here. And, you know, right now trying to get Trent Ferguson into a rhythm, being able to throw the ball, and at the first time with game speeds against live defense with his new wide receivers.
First down at the 23-yard line in a 7-7 game. Ferguson swings it out to the near side. A nice, easy pass.
Ferguson's pass is
picked
caught
up
by number 24,
by Ransom.
Hank Ransom.
Then he is swarm tackled, but does manage to pick up a few on the play.
I like that. Throw the ball to the big tight end there and just kind of, you know, throw the ball to the perimeter and on a screen. And usually they'll send him on the wheel route, you know, schematically, but they brought him back underneath on the screen pass. And, you know, again, a serviceable 4 yards, and you can't go wrong with that. And you see Coach Krasinski there, and Williamsville South coach. A product of this game, 1984, played in the All-Star game here, and was a product of Canisius High School.
Approaching a minute and a half to play here in the first quarter, a 7-7 game. Ferguson back to pass, flushed out of the pocket, tucks it away, goes to his left, and he's brought down inside the 15-yard line, right around the 14, short of a first down, but a pretty good game.
Yeah, Chris Finney again on the tackle, a great job. Again, good pursuit, stayed on his back foot, didn't over-pursue, and that's the one thing about Trent Ferguson too. He is deceptively fast. I mean, in Williamsville South, Coach Krasinski would use him and run the ball with him, and really had no reservations against it.
Ferguson, a big guy too, 6'3", 205 pounds, headed to Mercyhurst College in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Now they're going to bring in Austin Meats from Akron High School, a quarterback, and you got to think that they're going to run some sort of a read option play with him. And we're going to have a timeout on the field here, and looks like the South wants to take a timeout here. Was it?
I believe it's the North calling timeout. So they had something up their sleeve. They had a trick in the bag, if you will, and then ended up having to call timeout to really figure out if they want to do it. There's Craig Krasinski, the Williamsville South head coach.
I wanted to take a look at the defense and see, you know, what they were thinking about bringing here. And again, you know, I mean, Meats is a run-first player, a very, very capable quarterback, though. And you know, I'm sure you'll see Michael Chirillo in the next series here as you take a look at some of the players here from the North squad, rather. You know, Ian Gilhausen there in North Tonawanda, we talked about him. Stephen Rathling from Tonawanda, there's Austin Meats right there.
Williamsville South went 4-2 in the regular season.
There's a familiar face, and that's the best part about this game is you get to see faces all around Western New York. There's Coach John Fowler, Sweet Home High School. A couple state championship rings on his resume.
Sitting 2 rows in front of us, slumming it today up
I
in the
could,
top row.
I could throw popcorn at him from where I'm standing.
I dare you.
I'd love to.
All right, the North with a couple of personnel substitutions will change quarterback. As you mentioned, they bring Austin Meats into the game on this 3rd and 1. Meats ducks it, tries to get to the outside, then ducks back inside. Not much of a game, but it may be enough for a first down.
Meats will get the North team first down.
So indeed, they will move the chains.
And I like what they did there. They brought in, let's check here who they brought in. They brought in Dylan Hall from St. Joe's to line up as kind of what they call that an old Tennessee back deal, where he was behind the guard, lined up as an extra fullback just to kind of lead through, and Meats got to the outside.
20 seconds to go as they come to the line of scrimmage. Back in a quarterback is Trent Ferguson. A player in motion. Ferguson fakes the handoff, cuts to the inside, outside, dives towards the goal line. Touchdown, the call.
For the North team touchdown.
What a great run there from the quarterback, Trent Ferguson.
Absolutely, and like I said, he is deceptively fast. They're not afraid to run him, and you know, who better? You coach in an all-star game, and you have the luxury of being able to have your quarterback in there who knows your terminology, knows your system, all right, and you know what he's capable of, and certainly Ferguson, very capable to run the football just as well as throwing it. You know, and that's a huge advantage for the North squad, too, to have that.
For the extra point.
Snap, down, up, and through.
And the North team takes a 14-7 lead.
14-7 lead here with the North. Only 9 seconds to go here in the first quarter. And you take a look at the replay here. Trent Ferguson, again, just a little inside read option. Pulled the ball, he kept it, and, you know, again, that's a tough play to defend because, I mean, if you got a guy that can read that play and who can move like that, and again, look at that. He cuts it back behind the backside linebacker, too. That's just a great job and gets underneath the pursuit. Is, you know, anytime you see a quarterback running an open field, your first thought is go get him. And, you know, had enough alertness to get into the end zone. You saw Jacob Clare there. There's Coach Kevin Lester, another product of this game. Coach Lester played in this game in the 1992 game and is a part of Coach Krasinski's staff at Williamsville North, or Williamsville South, rather. Pardon me on that one.
You know what's kind of funny about that touchdown scamper by number 6, Trent Ferguson? They took him out of the game and put in Austin Meats on 3rd and short because technically he's a better running quarterback, I suppose. He picked up the short yardage first down, and then back in the game comes Ferguson, and he scampers 9 yards to get into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, when you have those kind of options, you have those kind of weapons. Why not? You know, get a kid in there to try to get some plays. That's the thing, too. You know, trying to get everybody in the game as much as you can. And should take a look here. The kickoff, they have that first return group, Brooks, Anderson, and Wierzeniak back.
Deshaun Harmon out of Burgard set to kick it away. I'm sorry, there was a number change. That's actually number 9, Brendan Bellis from St. Joe's. Should have known from the helmet. So the kickoff downfield, picked up to the near side, taken by Anderson, breaks one tackle, tried to stiff arm another, and then he's dragged out of bounds right around the 31-yard line. We're going to take a break. It is the end of the first quarter. The North leads the South 14-7 here at Orchard Park High School on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. The beautiful village of Orchard Park here in Western New York on a hot summer day, and it is a standing room only crowd. They are out to cheer on the final game for these graduating seniors from the class of 2013, technically the football class of 2012. So that'll bring up a first down. South team has the ball. It's a pass out near side to Brooks. Shaquille Brooks makes a couple of tacklers miss, and then he's dragged out of bounds right around midfield. Nice catch and run there from Brooks.
Yeah, again, we talked about having, of course, Stephon Johnson on the one side, but then having Shaquille Brooks on the other side, too, and, you know, get him the football. Hey, why don't I go back to your script, go back to that quick screen. And Alec Deach, we talked about him from Clarence High School, and a very nice season for the Red Devils this year. And head coach Mark Lair. And, again, took a good pursuit angle, got to the ball, and not after Brooks picked up the first down.
Smagera brings the offense to the line of scrimmage. He lines up in the shotgun with Barsakowski off his right shoulder. Barsakowski will be used as a blocker here. Pass down the field to his favorite receiver. Ackerman couldn't haul it in, and it was right off his fingertips.
Yeah, quick little skiddy post route. Again, they had cover two and two high safeties over the top. Sean Marshall was in the area. Product of Burgard High School, very good football player. And, you know, just to get a quick little release right over the middle there. And just out of the hands of Scott Ackerman.
Of course, Smagera and Ackerman, as you mentioned, both teammates at West Seneca East. They won the Section 6 Class A South division in the regular season, going 6-0 in division, 9-1 overall. That handoff to Barsakowski. He's hit right around the line of scrimmage. Not much there. And that'll bring up a third down.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Dylan Hall from St. Joe's did a great job. He kind of fought his way inside of that trap and did a nice job wrong-arming it back in, and Deach, linebacker, came up there and filmed very hard there and held that to about 2 yards. Casey Nucciarino in also on the tackle, Williamsville South High School product. And it'll bring up a third down and a very long 8.
Game brings out all the heavy hitters in the media, too. Paul Peck to our right doing the public address announcing here today at Orchard Park High School. Seen Harry Scull from the Buffalo News, a photographer. Many people enjoying this one, and boy, the fans have really come out here today too. Third and long, Smagera launches one out. An ill-advised pass. It was intended for Brooks, but way off the money, and that's going to bring up a 4th and long.
And again, just, you know, in and out of the hands there. And you know, Marshall was there in that, almost there for the interception. It's going to force the South squad into a punting situation. You can see there's Smagera through the fastball, and it was just in and out of the hands. It looked like a miscommunication between the wide receivers on their routes. And
yeah, Stephen Johnson was the closest man to the ball, but it was blocked well before it ever got near him by number 5, Sean Marshall. Looks like they're going to go for it. 4th and 9. Smagera backpedaling, has a man downfield, and it's caught. A great catch there from Johnson. He is having himself a whale of a day. And another long gain for Johnson, first down South.
Yeah, it's the second one on 4th down. You know, why punt the ball? Why bother? You know, I mean, I stand corrected 4th and 9. Now, you know, let's just go for it. Why not? And, you know, I kind of like that. It makes the game a lot more fun. Makes it a lot more interesting.
Right down the middle, too.
Great catch. And,
great pass.
You know, got some good yak on that one afterwards.
Unofficially, I'm not keeping real accurate stats, but I think for Johnson, that's his 5th catch. 1 for a touchdown, 4 for first downs, and 2 long gainers. Hand off to Barsakowski off the left side of the line. Again, he is met, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, he is met by 2 Clarence Red Devils, that's for sure. And, you know, there was Anthony Principali and Alec Deach getting in there as well. 2 Clarence linebackers meeting up. So, you know, again, this is a very stout run defense for the North squad. They have some good linebackers in there.
Mentioned that young man right there, Corey Barsakowski, led all Section 6 rushers with 2,136 yards on the season, 27 touchdowns. He just hasn't been able to find his groove here today. They've shut him down for the most part in the first half. Smagera takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls to his left, has some room. Can't quite get outside, and that is a good tackle by Casey Nucciarino. The second time we've seen those two collide here in the first half.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because we had them in on the radio show last Saturday morning, and they were both kind of, yucking it up a little bit. Obviously, division rivals. They played each other twice last year, and they were just kind of saying, hey, I could go, don't discredit me. I could go catch Andy Smagera. Trust me, I'll go get him. And, he's holding true to his word. He's got 2 good tackles out of him so far. You can see a little pat on the head afterwards. Good respect out of 2 friends in this game. And, that's the best part of it. You get to see all these guys that played against each other, all right, now playing on the same team, rivals, and you see, lineman Jason Bunk lining up, with Robert Buno from Depew, Jason Bunk being from Alden. You see those little rivalries go and those little friendships develop from it. That's what makes the game special.
3rd down and 6. Smagera back to pass, looking downfield, checks off his first receiver, has 3 defenders coming at him hard, hangs on to it from the near sideline to the end zone. Touchdown! Are you kidding me? With 3 defenders in his face, one of them in hot pursuit. It's Smagera from West Seneca East to Scott Ackerman from West Seneca East. It doesn't get any better than that.
I have no words for that. You get paid money to get up here, and we get up here, Dave. We got to talk about these kind of things, and talk about the play development. I have no words for that. He ran behind the official, Matt Palma, dropped back probably about 20 yards, got to the sideline, was out of real estate because the North played great pursuit, then throws the ball, just 40 yards on the run, on a rope, to Ackerman, who seemed to get wide open. It's just unbelievable. I mean, what a great play. That's an athlete making a play. A little dance from Ackerman, too. Give us some points for that. And the extra point from Tom Joya is good, making it 14-14 here in the second quarter. And, hey, a lot of bang for the buck, a lot of fireworks here early. And let's try to, there's a good look at Scott Ackerman, who just had the touchdown. Let's see if we can try to break this one down, Dave. Okay.
Look at the pursuit from number 33 for the North right there. That's unbelievable pressure from Takir Rollins.
And just, just mixed it up. And Ackerman's right there. The guys in the end zone can't believe it. They're trying to, I can't get out of the way. And I'll watch the dance, see if we can get the dance after here, because he put on some groovy moves here. Barsakowski, there's Ackerman. Getting in there. Yeah, a little bit of extra. You can't tell me that kid's fired up to play in this game. I just lost words. Here again, he runs behind Matt Palma. He's got to get out of the way. He's running.
But look at this. This is not a Hail Mary. I mean, he clearly sees Ackerman going toward the corner of the end zone and connects with him, well, just like they did during the regular season at West Seneca East.
Yeah, and again, he throws that ball so well on the run, Dave. I mean, it's not like he really sat there, set his feet. I mean, the athleticism it takes to be able to properly pronate your body, pronate your wrist, and get that throw off is just astronomical.
Smagera listed at 6'1", 190, headed to Robert Morris University. The kick is away. It'll be a touchback, and the North will start at their own 20-yard line in a tie game. It's 14-14.
Yeah, Ian Gilhousen there. You take a look at him. North Tonawanda was very proud to say I was able to coach him the last 3 years up there at NT. Great kid. He's going to be going on to Brockport next year. Very excited to him. He'll be going there to play for Coach Jason Mangoni. Very, very proud of him to make this game. There's Smagera there, and we talked about him. He's, obviously going to Robert Morris. He's unfortunately probably not going to play quarterback, but I think after that he can make a case for it. He's going to be playing free safety at Robert Morris is what they're looking at to use him as, and he'll probably play early.
He'll do something. Snap back now in at quarterback is Mike Torello from Sweet Home. Handoff up the middle is good for first down yardage. That move the chains.
And it was Justin Slango from Wilson High School on the carry there. And you mentioned Trillo in there at the quarterback position. And a nice little inside trap play.
Let's send it down to the field. Then Mike Scott.
Thanks, Dave. I'm here with Stephen Johnson, who has a touchdown today and a 34-yard catch for a first down. You have a great rapport with your quarterback, Smagera.
Yeah, it's like I practiced, we just kept working on it, Throwing me passes, like you even came out early practices and just throw a couple of passes. I told him, if you get any trouble, just throw me the ball. I'm going to get it for him.
You were mentioning off camera, you feel he's a better thrower on the run, and it was evidenced by that throw to Ackerman a moment ago.
Yeah, it's like when he scrambled, it seemed like he could see the field more. It's just more accurate thrower. Like, I don't know why, it's just him.
Well, this might not be the only time we talk to you, but what's it like to be selected for this football game?
I feel great, especially I get a chance to play one more high school game, like another chance to give it my all. It's a great feeling, it's a thrill.
All right, Stephen, thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you, sir.
Stephen Johnson out of McKinley High School, headed to Assumption College, 5'11", 185, and he's having himself a whale of a day for the South. But this time, Torillo launches one out in the flat. That's James Chambers Jr. with the reception. Pickup of enough to give him a first down. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the North from their own 45-yard line as they approach midfield.
Yeah, we talked about Johnson a little bit. And again, just a great player. You can tell, again, great personality, gets it. He works hard. You know, it was just a tremendous asset for that McKinley team over the last couple of years. And, you know, like you mentioned, going to Assumption College, he's going to have a very stellar high school career there.
Neither squad has more than 3 players from the same school. McKinley has 3 here today for the South. The handoff goes up the middle. Pickup of about 5 on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd and 5. 3 players on the South team from McKinley, West Seneca East, and Timon, and 3 players from the North team, Williamsville South, including Shaq Nettles. Again, no school has more than 3 teams on either one of these squads here today. And not every team in Western New York is represented, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Jamestown, Orchard Park are some of the big ones. Notables that don't have...
Randolph won the Class D state championship.
Certainly, yeah. Lancaster doesn't have any players in this game. You know, so I mean, some of the bigger notable schools that you mentioned and talk about don't have players. Orchard Park was kind of in a unique situation. I mean, you talk about the players like Ben Holmes and Mike Sen. They're already off in college preparing for their college careers. A couple lacrosse players in that group, and then maybe one of the better players in that group, Austin Goltz, has a torn ACL that he suffered in the lacrosse season. So, you know, kind of a shame here that, you know, you have this great, beautiful venue here in Orchard Park, and, you know,
the Orchard Park Quakers don't have a representative in this game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure there'll be some next year because they were very, you know, they had some very solid juniors in that group. So I think you'll see some in that group next year from Orchard Park. Granted, if the game's here or not, we don't know the answer to that question yet, but anyways, you look at Mike Torillo here, and again, just the bloodlines in it. His father's coaching in the game, too. His father is a defensive coordinator at Sweet Home High School. Mike Torillo led that tremendous comeback last year, Dave, if you remember that game at All High Stadium, and where they played Eastridge, and just a phenomenal game. And it looked like Sweet Home was kind of up against the ropes and made one little adjustment, and Torillo came out and ran the option, and it kind of flustered him a little bit, and he threw that pass on 4th down in overtime and got it, and they ended up winning the game. And his father actually also played in this game in 1984 with Craig Krasansky on the North squad.
Sweet Home winning their 6th straight Section 6 Class A championship this year. After the timeout, handoff to Chambers to the left side, got outside, brought down just inside the 45-yard line, and that'll be good enough for a first down. Tackle by number 3, Nick Anderson.
And I know our producer-director, David D, is going to give me some jokes about this one here, but I'm going to put it to you this way. Sweet Home has not lost since I was in high school, which he could say it could have been last year, but they haven't lost a game since Williamsville East in 2006. They lost that game in week 2, 21-11, and they have just racked off wins after win after win in Western New York against competition. They've only lost. Not
only in Western New York either. John Fowler leading the Sweet Home Panthers to the New York State Championship game where they lost to Burnt Hills.
Yeah, and how about that? I mean, you see common opponents through, Aquinas moved up to AA this year. They had to play Orchard Park. Orchard Park beat them moving on. But, the relationship developed between Sweet Home and Burnt Hills, obviously with Burnt Hills coach Matt Schell and his son, battling, cancer, and just how touching of a story it was and how the two communities work together. And then obviously the next year with Deschanero Morris going through his tragedy and, he's still around. And those teams to kind of meet together and play again is just, it was a nice story.
2nd down and 12 after the loss. And off on the near side, Chambers makes one man miss, makes a second man miss, but then he's gang tackled inside the 40. A gain of about 5 on the play, but they were at 2nd and 12, so they're 3rd and long.
Yeah, Mike Brzeziak getting in there in the tackle. Another player that I've actually had the pleasure to be able to coach. Coached him way back in Modified at Maryvale when he was just a little guy. And man, he's grown up and come a long way here. But a little tweak in Coach Krasansky's system here, running more of a wing T type of play, the buck sweep. And, they had the tight end wing concept and kind of threw the ball, or, ran the ball outside of it there. And, a little interesting twist to the spread game.
So on number 23, James Chambers Jr., I think we're going to get a heavy dose of him, and why not? He rushed for over 1,353 yards. Torillo this time back to pass, launches it out there. The catch from Lonnie Taylor. He is quickly swarmed and brought down, but not until he picks up the catch for a first down.
Yeah, Medina High School, a great product too. I've had, been able to watch him play the last couple of years. An outstanding athlete. And I was doing the see, I was doing the Pendleton Lions Club game, just kind of doing PA announcing for that. And another Western New York name around, Gary Braun, and Medina was one of the teams in that. And I'll tell you what, Lonnie Taylor threw down some of the most thunderous dunks I've ever seen a high school player do. And I'm like, man, this kid is an athlete.
You know, I was going to say, in the program, he's listed at 6'1", 170. He seems
he's
to play a lot bigger than that.
He's about 6'3", I'd say, probably. And he's certainly a heck of an athlete.
Well, that time he hauled in a 21-yard reception for first down. The handoff this time to the left side, brought down. That is Slango brought down at the 15-yard line. So a gain of 5 on the play.
Jason Bunk getting in there, Brian Ryback getting in there, and Alden and Depew combination getting in out of the tackle. And you know, Jason Bunk coming in there. He's going to be walking on and playing football for the University at Buffalo this year. They look to have a very promising year. Khalil Mack, we talked about him. He's considered as a first-round pick right now, and obviously led by quarterback Joe Licata, an alumnus of this game the last couple years. 2011 game he played in.
High expectations for the UB Bulls this year, no question, as Chambers took the handoff. Brought down after a modest gain on the play.
Don't want to see this in a game. Jason Bunk is down and injured, and you know, hopefully, you know, it doesn't appear to be too serious. It looks like he's getting up, but kind of the way he went down, it looks like he might have either cramped or rolled an ankle. And you don't want to see that in an all-star game, certainly. You don't want to see that ever, but...
Jason Bunk listed at 6'3", 276 pounds, out of Alden, where he played for, well, would you call him legendary head coach Dick Domenico now that he's retired for the second time in his career?
Yeah.
I think I would.
Absolutely, and, you know, just a heck of a program over there, great staff at Alden. Rob Kern is new head coach taking over for him. He was an assistant under Dick Domenico. Tom Zaccardo was still there, Ken Partel. Very good staff, and... you know, they got a very nice program at Alden. So.
And I would be remiss if I didn't wish you congratulations for picking up the head coaching job, the JV head coaching job at the Alden Bulldogs.
Yeah, very excited about that. You know, a few of my new players are here. A few of the kids are out here to check out the game. They've been talking about it at workouts the last week or so, and we got a great you know, a great group of kids here at Alden. So I'm very blessed and very excited to be able to work with the Bulldogs now.
Guess I'll have to go watch some Alden Bulldog JV football this year.
Yeah, no, we're going to have some fun, you know, and you know, we got a nice group of kids. I'll tell you what, we really do.
All right, that brings up a 3rd and 5 with a man in motion. Tarillo back to pass.
Got him.
Yes, he does. Pitch and catch in the end zone. That's Lonnie Taylor for the touchdown. Tarillo to Taylor from 15 yards out. Boy, that was a picture-perfect strike, wasn't it?
Oh, beautiful. And, you know, again, talked about wanting to throw the ball around. Taylor, that athlete, can get up there and go get the ball. And they motioned Ian Gilhousen away, so they had him isolated one-on-one, and they just threw the little fade, that little garbage can ball to the back corner of the end zone. And Tarillo throws the ball with just such great touch and a tremendous throw. And
you don't see a lot of timing patterns like that in high school. That was pretty well executed.
Oh, it was beautifully executed for you know, again, considering the fact that these guys have worked together for, you know, about 10 practices here, right?
Brendan Bellis back for the extra point. The kick is up, splits the uprights, it's good. And for the 3rd time today, the North leads this game by 7. On 3 different occasions, they've led by 7. The South has been able to come back and tie it up on 2 of the previous occasions. We'll see if they can do it again.
Yeah, take a look at, they're going up and picking on Wozniak there.
That is a timing pattern. I mean, just all the way, he didn't have any second option.
No, you know, just you can see he throws it very well. You know, and again, had a very stellar season. And again, everybody was joking about before the season, hey, Sweeto's going to be down this year. If this is ever the year that they're going to be down, this is the year. You know, hey, Mike Tarillo, he's got to follow Casey Kaz. He's got to follow Pat McMahon. He's got to follow Jordan Johnson. You know, how do you follow those guys? Well, they probably had their best season, and you know, it obviously compared to the state championship years, but they got back to the state championship, and you know, everybody kind of just looked down and said, hey, this is the year that Sweet Home was down. And you know, again, you just kind of talk about the solid program there, and you know, that was led by the great leadership in play. And Mike Tarillo's little brother, Kevin Tarillo, was the quarterback of yet another undefeated JV football team at Sweet Home. And we had to play them right out of the gates last year at North Tonawanda for our JVs, and yikes, they were pretty good. So the Tarillo family lines there of lineage for football is pretty solid.
One of those programs in Western New York, there's a handful of them that just keep recycling in, you know, different sports, and in football, Sweet Home is definitely one of them.
Oh, absolutely. And
just keep reloading.
You know, you talk about a staff that's been together for years and is on the same page.
Brandon Bellis out of St. Joe's High School kicks it away.
The kickoff by Bellis is
picked up by the South to the 20 and brought down right there. Gilhausen brought down right at the 20, excuse me. That's where the South will take over. Right about the 19-yard line.
It is Edgardo Barros from South Park High School, and you know, showed some speed, but great pursuit again. And it was Alec Deach from Clarence High School, and we talked about him, and you know, just a solid job of tracking the ball, getting there, and finishing nasty on the tackle. So very nice job, and we'll see what let's see what Andy Smagera can do. Could he outdo himself the last 2 drives? We'll see what he can do here.
4 minutes and 46 seconds left before halftime. A 7-point game. 21-14 the score. The team in navy blue representing the North All-Stars in the lead. This handoff goes to Shaquille Brooks. Can he get the outside? The answer is yes. He's off to the races, and then tripped up by the final man that could bring him down. Number 7, Austin Meads, does so, or else he would have been gone. A great run there from Shaquille Brooks.
Again, just the athleticism of him, and it's a shame because, and we did that Cheektowaga-Lackawanna game, and you could tell in that game he was hampered with an ankle injury, much like yourself, Mr. Miller, and just kind of, you know, he just wasn't himself, and you couldn't see that natural athleticism. You could just tell that he was trying, he just couldn't go. He couldn't go. And there you could see what he is capable of
at
full
gear.
Strength.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Shifted into that extra gear. First down from their own 46-yard line. Smagera still in the game at quarterback, launches one out. Oh, off the fingertips of Shaquille Brooks, nearly picked off.
Yeah, it went out of Brooks's hands, and Billy Savetti from Lewiston Porter High School, and that one went through his hands as well. And you know, here we are. It's a, you know, again, you've seen a couple of those, and you're going to get that with the All-Star game. The surface a little slick.
That brings up second down and 10 with Smagera handing it off, brought down right at the line of scrimmage. That is a swarming defense for the North, forcing 3rd and long.
Handoff to number 27, Tyler Miller. No gain on the play. Defensively for the North, the play made by Anthony Zagaria and Khalil Somerville.
Clock continues to move inside 3.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Mike Scott will have all of our halftime festivities. Keep it right here. So a 3rd and 10, Smagera in the shotgun, empty backfield, 3 wideouts to the near side. Smagera looking to the far side, is flushed out of the pocket, and he's on the run. He's oh so dangerous, went on the run. And again, this time he connects with Brooks. Picks up a first down and much, much more. Boy, is Smagera difficult when he starts to run.
That's a 44-yard gain.
On the move, look at Smagera once again, a 44-yard gain. And then the run after they catch from Brooks, a nice hard run before he's knocked out of bounds right at the 10-yard line. So they'll put the markers down, and it'll be officially a 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. 3:01 to go here in the first half. Smagera gives a signal. Brooks goes in motion. Smagera keeps it himself, trying to sneak up the middle. That may be a good for, well, not good for, but that may be a loss of 1 on the play.
Brought down by number 57, Dylan Hall. Loss of 1 yard.
Smagera is having himself a whale of a first half, joined in the backfield this time by Tyler Miller from Iroquois High School. Smagera, quick swing out to the left flat. And again, a loss. That was Scott Ackerman on the receiving end, but that is back-to-back losses for a couple of yards, and what was first and goal from the 10 is now first and goal from about the 14. They held off the Timon Tigers 28-20 in the Monsignor Martin Athletic Association Championship game. You're right, 11-0 for the Canisius Crusaders in the Monsignor Martin Championship. This pass behind Brooks, but he goes down and hauls it in, but it's going to be short of the goal line. Mind you, it is 4th and goal now. They cannot get a first down. They need a touchdown. You don't want Smigara running right now, do you? Not with what he's done here today. 65 seconds to go. A 7-point lead for the North. We're going to get a timeout on the field, and it looks like it's going to be the defensive team, the All-Stars from the North, and their head coach, Craig Kruzanski, that wants to call timeout. That's their 3rd timeout.
Don't forget, refreshments are available at the concession stand, being operated by
Andy Smigara right in the middle of the pack, talking things over, leading the offense. Just tell you, he's one of those guys that is a leader.
Will be announced at the start of the 4th quarter. You can get them at the admissions table or by the Lions members selling them throughout the stands.
Facilities are amazing.
This is a huge play here on 4th down and 5.
Smigara in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff, is on the move. Oh, he had a man, he had Brooks in the flat, but it was knocked down. If it wasn't knocked down, it might have been 6. Let's go down to the field and check in with Mike Scott.
Thanks, Dave. I'm here with Lonnie Taylor. Just had a touchdown catch of 24 yards. What's it like to develop a rapport with a new quarterback in 2.5 weeks?
I just got used to it after the 2 weeks. I just got used to them. Most quarterbacks don't read the ball. I just got used to them.
Take us.
9 fade to me. And when he started playing me inside, I knew I was going to score. I just went right around him. He just threw it up. He just caught it.
All right, Lonnie, thanks for the time. We got to let you get back on offense. Back up to you, Dave.
All right, so the stand for the North defensively on 4th down gives them the ball offensively deep in their own territory with only 50 seconds to go. Brought down behind the line of scrimmage inside the 5-yard line, and that's a 2nd down.
And the South squad is going to take a timeout here to try to stop the clock. That's a big loss there. Clifton Brown for McKinley, very capable player, very good football player for the McKinley Max this past season. And now they're going to be backed up here on the inside the 2-yard line. Now, I'll tell you what, if I'm Coach Kruzanski, I'm thinking of taking a stab here because there's a lot of grass. There's a lot of grass in front of you. And, I mean, that's just my personal philosophy that, you know, you could take a stab here, and you got an athlete like Shaq Nettles, you know, or you know, that you could throw the ball up to on a deep go route, and you know, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea to take a kind of a shot here, and you know, see what they come up with, and you know, I mean, it's risk reward in a way though, because the ball's going to be back up on, you know, you're inside the 2-yard line. If you goof up, you're, you know, you could be giving up 2 points and the ball. But I would like to see him take a shot here. I mean, it's an all-star game. We really haven't seen much flair out of the Coach Kruzanski side. And there's a couple of Western New York's finest right there. You see Mr. Dick Gallagher there, wearing a Stanford hat. That's kind of a new touch for him.
And Stu Boyer, our good friend and colleague, wearing pink today on a warm summer day.
Yeah, Mike Ferrantino hiding back there too, and you know, all the stops pulled out there for. You know, it's a who's who of who's here in Western New York.
All right, 40 seconds left. Ferguson in the shotgun takes the snap in his own end zone. Throws it out there for Shaq.
Ferguson's pass intended for Shaq.
Intercepted. Oh my! You called it, but it was almost blown up.
Yeah, great coverage by Nick Anderson there, JFK, and you know, again, we talked about him. Not a lot of people saw JFK play football this year, but they had a very exciting team, and you know, very solid. They were tied, you know, co-division champions, Class C North, and oh man, just there. And man, he was close. So now you got 3rd down and long, and you know, you got to try to get out of here. If not, you're going to be punting from your own end zone.
Interesting. 3rd and 14. As we approach halftime, things may get interesting before the half. A man goes in motion. Ferguson picks it up, tosses it up. Down low.
He's in the end zone. That's a safety.
Ferguson's pass is caught.
That is a safety. Good call, my friend.
Oh, man.
Team safety.
Yikes. I love the play call. Don't get me wrong. I love the play call. Just he lost his footing to Chambers again. If he breaks a tackle, he's gone. But, hey, here's your situation now. The South still has 2 timeouts. You have Andy Smagera, and now they got to kick off the ball from their own 20-yard line. I mean, this is a big event. You see Coach Fada there. Head coach at Cheektowaga Central, another alumnus of this game. He played in the 95 game. Coach Delaney played in the 98 game. So, I mean, again, the storylines, you get some of the other guys that have been in this game. Our very own colleague Mark Collins played in the 77 game. Brian Wilson of Depew, 78. Jimmy Coon, 79. Steve Griffin, 79. Dennis Gilbert of St. Joe's in 84. Here's your replay. And again, it's just a little slip screen, and it looked like Ferguson kind of underthrew him. And, you know, in that venture, you're best to kind of just let the ball go. And, you know, Chambers slipped trying to go back and catch the ball. And now, I mean, again, this is a difficult predicament to be in here. You got a kid like Andy Smagera, you know, who's done what he's done, obviously, is, you know, this is going to be very interesting.
I mean, we've got a long way to go, but you got to wonder if that safety might come back and haunt the All-Stars from the north. What's been a I score, you score, I score, you score game. The monkey wrench has been thrown into it with a 2-point safety. It makes it a 5-point game.
Yeah, you know, again, this is just a gutsy effort right now with the South squad. And I talked to Coach Tim Delaney last week, and I said, you know, what are your thoughts? What do you think? And, you know, you guys got a kind of lighter squad going into it on paper. You know, the North looks very strong on paper. And he said, well, we got Andy Smagera. And he said, I don't think that there's a better player in the game. And I think they're proving that to be true right now, that he is pretty much taking over this game.
So a high towering kick fielded at the 35-yard line, bobbled, and then it goes out of bounds. Unable to haul in was Warziniak, number 12.
Oh, man, it would have been fun to see what he does when he gets the ball. Like I said, I mean, if you want to ever watch a highlight video on YouTube, go check his out, because he did some phenomenal things for Maryville High School this year and, you know, the last couple of years. And it was my first quarterback that I ever coached, so it would have been nice to see him to get that one there. But, hey, still good field position here on their own 35-yard line. 35 seconds to go with 2 timeouts, and like we said, Andy Smagera to throw the ball. So
Warziniak headed to Clarion University in Western Pennsylvania. And now with 35 seconds left, what does South head coach Tim Delaney out of South Park High School have up his sleeve? Well, he's got Andy Smagera, who's got the ball right now, takes the snap, rolls to his right, pressure coming again. This time he just throws it away wisely. I'll stop the clock with 28 seconds to go. We bring up a second down as well.
And, you know, again, that's what you want. You know, get good pursuit lanes from the north, and, you know, have to be really disciplined and not over pursue, because what happens when he breaks through, they tried a little pump and go with the screen, and the north squad very disciplined on defense. As you can see, Tyker Rollins once again in pursuit, but the corners didn't bite on it. They sat back and they waited, and they know full well, you know, I'm sure that they kind of went over that one in the game plan, seeing as well these offenses are very, very similar to each other.
That North defense has been trying to get to Smagera all day long. They haven't been able to do it. As a matter of fact, he's done some of his best work with pressure coming. Not that time, he threw it away. This time, Smagera goes to the far side, finds Ackerman right around the first down marker. I think it's going to be close.
First down.
Will be a first down.
And he got just a little quick out route, cover 3 there, threw the ball to his teammate that he's very comfortable throwing the ball to on those passes, and you know exactly what the doctor ordered here. But you know, you just got this feeling that something can happen. Something can happen every time he touches the football, and he's just really the real deal. And now, I mean, they're in striking distance. Again, only 2 timeouts. 24 seconds. You have plenty of time when you have the guys you have.
One man joining Smagera in the backfield, thinking past the whole way. He's got, oh my, he had Shaquille Brooks and he overthrew him by just a little bit. Wow.
A little out and up route, and here's Chuck Huber there on the sidelines, kind of like, hey man, he could have had it.
He drew the one-on-one coverage in the backfield, and Brooks just turned it on, ran past him, but he couldn't quite get under it.
Just out of his reach there, and you know, again, a matchup nightmare. Again, you could put a lot of good ball players out there, but you know, when you have a guy like Shaq Brooks, and you know, hey, we haven't heard from this guy yet much this quarter, Stephon Johnson from McKinley, and you know, does he go back to him here? And he's got the ball in the left hash, and he's been very comfortable rolling out to his right, so he's got a lot of grass to play with, or synthetic turf, for that matter.
All right, 18 seconds to go, bringing up second down and 10. Smagera takes the snap in the shotgun, launches it to the near side, hauled in with a great catch. That pass picked up.
The grab, number 33, Alex Horvatis.
Alex Horvatis on the catch there, St. Mary's High School product, bobbled it and then brought it in one hand and brought it in.
Good concentration from Horvatis.
Maybe a little, you know, finished nasty on the sideline there. I know a couple of South players were clamoring for a flag, but hey, now you got 13 seconds and the ball on the 39-yard line, and you know, you can jump ball, phase it. North has brought in some of their pass rushers here and brought in some fresh legs. Shaq Nettles is out on defense right now.
Did you see that offensive huddle? I could see Ackerman's eyes. He's like, give it to me, give it to me. Why not, right? Let's see if they go that way. Smagera in the gun again. 3-step drop, looking that way. He's got a man downfield, and it's caught inside the 20-yard line. First down at the 19.
And a South timeout, and I'll tell you, Smagera is on, and like we said, he's been quiet, running cover 2 there, and you know, just kind of found that seam underneath, and you know, drilled the ball inside, and you know, great job to come back to the ball. So 8 seconds to go. You're at the ball on the 19-yard line. Think they're going to try a field goal?
20 yards on the game.
Said nobody ever.
Did you say that just to see if I was paying attention?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, he had the ball in his own 30-yard line. He didn't want to punt, so.
That is a perfect pass. And a pretty good catch, too, by Stephon Johnson.
I apologize. They had quarter coverage there. They had played cover 4, and Johnson just kind of ran that skinny post underneath it. And, you know, the way he kind of ran off that, broke off his route, it was kind of like a curl dig.
You don't see a lot of high school quarterbacks that can read that play like that. He threw it where only Johnson could come down with it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, sometimes the best throws are behind him a little bit in some situations because, you know, I mean, you got a corner that's just really playing soft on you. You can throw that back shoulder. If you underthrow him, then, you know, it's not a bad play if you have a guy there. So,
yeah, first down and 10 from the 19-yard line with 8.1 seconds to go. So you've got time for 1, maybe 2 plays. Smagera takes the snap. Downfield, caught by Barsikowski.
Andy Smagera's pass is caught for the
touchdown. Can you believe it? Wow. And again, a guy that's been very quiet tonight, but very capable. Get him out on a pass route. He's one of the best players in the game. You know, and a great play call to dial him up right down the chute. And a little sluggo pattern it looked like, and sit him right in the middle, and he got the extra effort to get in, and the South has the lead.
Well, how about that?
And again, you looked at it on paper coming into it. You got to say, wow, look at the kids the North has. Look at everything the North, man, the North. And even myself saying that, but hey, I'll tell you what, South's here to play. Oh. And a
Joy's extra point is good. It's the South team 23.
And look at the scoreboard. That
and the
safety
North
right now
team
is the difference, as I
21.
kind of speculated it might be. I mean, we're only going to the half, but that safety could prove to be big. And the South team has their first lead of the day on a catch from that young man right there, Corey Barsikowski out of Alden High School.
Again, just right over the middle.
If he doesn't get in here, we go to the half.
No, I think they had one timeout left. And, yep, just was able to sneak in, and yeah, he's in. And again, look at the release from Smagera, and you know, Barsikowski makes a great cut, gets in, and you know, now big kickoff, put it on the ground, squib it. Don't let the dangerous returners, the Chambers and Gilhausens of the world touch the ball, because they can break it.
The reaction from Smagera, priceless.
His buddy Ryan Johnson there. So, and it's Smagera. Who else would you rather have to handle this kickoff but him? And they can put the ball on the ground and to kind of just dribble it. You know that they're not going to let those guys. You know,
I mentioned Barsikowski, 2,136 yards on the ground, 27 touchdowns, most of them on the ground. Who'd have thunk it? He gives the South team their first lead with a 20-yard touchdown reception.
Yeah, and hey, why not? You have the ability to do those kind of things, and I'll tell you what, it's just a great play, and to send him, and they had quarter coverage, so they pretty much sent 4 guys deep, vertical, to kind of pin the secondary back, and basically you had Barsikowski one-on-one with linebackers, and he's going to win that battle pretty majority of the time, pretty good majority of it. So,
Barsikowski headed to Erie Community College. You think they're excited to have that young man?
I would think so too.
Squib kick picked up at the 32-yard line. Time is going to wind down, and nothing further develops as we head to the half with the South leading the North by a score of 23-21. It took most of the first half for the South to claim that first lead. They pick up the go-ahead touchdown with only 1.9 seconds to go in the second quarter play. We'll head to a break and be back with some halftime festivities. Mike Scott down on the field when we come back here in Orchard Park on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. The 2013 Kensington Lions Club All-Star Classic with the North versus the South from Section 6 back here at Orchard Park High School. We are at the half, and the South picked up their first lead of the day with just 1.9 seconds left in the first half. 23-21 the score as we send it down to the field, and Mike Scott.
Thanks, Dave. I'm here with Craig Kurzansky, head coach of the North All-Stars. What were your thoughts on the first half?
I just think Andy took over, the quarterback for the South team, Smigera. He's a terrific athlete, and we just had to rush contain a little bit better. Our ends didn't play very well, and I thought we let him in the game with a safety late with two minutes left. That's my fault. I should have ran the ball 3 times down there, but we're trying to win, we're trying to play, we're trying to get our athletes out there, and unfortunately they made some plays down the stretch, and that's why they're leading.
Thanks for the time. Good luck in the second half.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Back to you, Dave.
So again, yeah, Andy Smigera really putting this team on his shoulders in that first half. An exhibition really unparalleled. The capacity crowd enjoying some halftime snacks, and we'll be back with some more halftime thoughts when we return to Orchard Park next on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.
At halftime of the 38th annual Kensington Lions All-Star Football Game, it's the South All-Stars 23 and the North All-Stars 21. Mike Scott with you sideline here at Orchard Park High School. Let's take a look at how the opening 30 minutes of action unfolded in this high-scoring All-Star football game. Take a look at scoring in the first quarter. Here's our first score of the game, an unlikely source. Khalil Somerville blocks the punt and returns it for a touchdown just 1 minute and 43 seconds into the contest. South would strike back, rolling out Smigera, the quarterback, into the back of the end zone for Stephen Johnson, a 5-yard touchdown catch. That evened the score at 7 following the extra point. Trent Ferguson rumbles up the middle for the North All-Stars and into the end zone. Brandon Bellis had the extra point. That made it 14-7 North All-Stars. Second quarter action on the run again. It's Smigera to Scott Ackerman, his favorite target, his high school teammate. It's a 29-yard touchdown catch that evened the score at 14. Another touchdown throw. Ferguson into the back of the end zone for the North All-Stars. Caught by Lonnie Taylor. 21-14 North with 4:56 remaining. But then the game would change here in the second quarter on this safety. Losing his footing in the end zone was James Chambers. He falls to make the score 21-16, and then with 1.9 seconds to go, Barzakowski from Smagera over the middle, touchdown, 19 yards. The extra point was good, and that makes the score 23-21 at the half. An interview with the South head coach after this on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.
This game has had a heavy dose of West Seneca East. You saw Scott Ackerman on the receiving end of that touchdown, but the players from the north say what you can do, life can do better. Corey Barzakowski with that touchdown with just 1.9 seconds remaining. He was on the receiving end of a 20-yard touchdown pass. We are at Orchard Park High School on a twilight summer evening here in Western New York. A standing room only crowd as we continue with our halftime festivities. 23-21, the All-Stars from the south taking the late lead before halftime, leading the All-Stars from the north. Andy Smagera having himself a huge first half. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment as we head downstairs to Mike Scott.
Thanks, David. I'm with South head coach Tim Delaney. Coach, your thoughts on the opening half?
Very exciting half of football. We really have been executing our offensive game plan other than the first drive. We knew we'd be able to throw it a little bit, and our run game hasn't been too bad with Corey Barzakowski as well. Defensively, we're just a step away from making a play to really turn things around. We got a big break there, pinning them deep with them stopping us and then us getting a safety. So we like where we're at right now.
Any adjustments?
We're going to adjust the punt team, so we don't give that up again. They made a great play, but we'll definitely make an adjustment on the punt team.
All right, good luck the rest of the way, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Dave, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike. Yeah, they'll make an adjustment on the punt team. The South team only attempting one punt, and that came early in the first quarter. Khalil Somerville not only got a piece of that punt, but also picked up the loose ball and scampered into the end zone after blocking Andy Smagera's punt. The only miscue, I guess you would say, from Andy Smagera, who had himself an outstanding day on offense, and so did that man right there, Corey Barsikowski, for the South team, having himself a whale of a first half. Mention the fact that he led all Section 6 running backs with over 2,000 yards, 2136 to be exact, and picked up the only touchdown for himself in the first half on the receiving end of that 20-yard touchdown pass.
Disappointed, and we have talked about as well the explosive fireworks you're going to see. And I'll tell you what, I mean, it's just, you know, every time that you're like, okay, man, what's going to happen next? What can they do to outdo themselves? And they just kept doing it.
Well, you know, speaking of not knowing what's next, you never know what these guys are going to say. It is the Enforcers on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel 2 times a week. Double the coverage on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. From left to right, Marlon Kerner, Ruben Brown, Rob Ray, and Andrew Peters. Very entertaining, very informative, and it's Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. It's the Enforcers.
Gotta love it, you know, and you know, I took in the episode a couple weeks ago down at Razor's Doghouse down in Springville. You check that out. I'm going to be down in Springville quite a bit this year, I think, scouting. So might have to peek in there and grab something to eat. Looking forward to that. And, you know, I don't think you can find much more entertaining TV in Western New York. And they're going to be at the fair next week, so I might have to stop out and say hello. I'm a big fan of that. Time Warner Cable has it, and I mean, just you never know what you're going to get, like we had mentioned, and you know, certainly a lot of fun taking in the programming.
I might have to go to the Erie County Fair and have some fried dough with Rob Ray. That's on my bucket list.
I'll pick you up. Let's go.
Fried dough with Rob Ray.
Sounds good to me. So, and I'll tell you what. Here's again what we've talked about. And then you see Andy Smagera, and he's running around like a madman. But I'm going to tell you what. And here's you know, here's kind of the way you want to look at it here. We talked about the fact that, you know, in high school football you play 12-minute quarters. Well, now they're playing 15-minute quarters, okay, college time. And you're basically adding a fifth quarter. When you play 48 minutes, you're adding on, you know, another 3 minutes for 4 quarters.
I'm trying to count that out on my fingers. I don't have enough.
Okay, so let's go back to here. 48 minutes in a regular high school football game. You're going to add 3 minutes to 4 quarters, times that is 12. So you're adding another quarter playing a 60-minute ball game here, and it's a very humid night here in Orchard Park. And you know, conditioning and all of those things are going to be kind of a concern. And we'll see, you know, again, the South, a lighter roster on paper, if they could keep the pace going and, you know, stay loose after that 15-minute halftime. And Smagera, who's done everything but pretty much brought me any food tonight, is kicking off for the South.
Boots it away, and we are underway here in the second half. Taken at the 5-yard line. Out to the 20. Gilhausen brought down before he hits the 25-yard line. They'll start at their own 24.
Special teams tackle made by
You see, it was actually Denzel Benton who had the return there from Canisius High School, and you know, good job on kick coverage by the South squad, and they will take over 1st and 10 on their own 25, and we'll see. Here will be the fun one. What kind of adjustments? Because I mean, these are two very competitive coaches. You know, they have a very good mind for the game in football and in offense. And I mean, you're really kind of stuck playing one defense here, and they can't blitz or anything. But you know, let's see what they figured out and let's see what kind of changes they're going to make. And they're going to start it with Mike Torillo at quarterback.
Torillo with an empty backfield has wideouts, 3 of them to the right, 2 to the left. Hands it off. Couldn't quite get outside. That was Chambers trying to get the corner. Couldn't get there. He brought down out of bounds, and that'll stop the clock.
Yeah, and he had about a you know, a good 5-6 yard gain, and Shaquille Brooks came over there to make the tackle. Here's a guy that's going both ways. And, you know, they had a marginal gain there. Actually, they only had about 3 yards on the play. So 2nd down and 7, good yardage too, and you know, kind of tough running that one into the boundary, but wanted to give Chambers the ball, breaks the tackle in the backfield there very nicely. So
Torillo on the shotgun takes the snap. Hands it off up the middle.
And off to Chambers.
Chambers brought down after a gain of about 3 on the play, and that'll bring up 3rd down and short.
And he was squeezed down very nicely there. You know, Ryan Johnson getting in on the tackle, and trying to see who else wrapped him up. So
Tackle on the play by number 23, Matthew Wheelock.
Looked like Matthew Wheelock from West Seneca West also got in on the tackle.
He's got an entourage here today.
Yeah, certainly. You can hear him right there. And, you know, a very, very full crowd here at Orchard Park tonight.
Third down and a long 2. Torillo hands it off. Brought down in the backfield.
Torillo on the handoff.
That was Ryan Johnson from West Seneca East. And again, when you see what's going on tonight, there is no secret why West Seneca East was as good as it was this year, with obviously Smigera and Ryan Johnson, and we've seen Scott Ackerman.
The run there from Sean Marshall, couldn't get outside, buried in the backfield.
Great tackle too, you know, great pursuit, gets his head across the chest, breaks down well, very fundamentally sound, and again, a huge stop here, and now again giving the ball back to the South, and they seem to be on fire.
Marshall, a low 2 at 6'2", 195 out of Burgard High School. Brought down for the loss, forcing fourth down, and the kick is away. Bounces outside the 40-yard line, inside the 35, and now fielded by Anderson. Hits the 40-yard line, he's taken down to the 41, and that's where the South team will take over for their first offensive possession here in the second half.
So now again, adjustments. Well, let's see what, you know, the North adjustment you can see is, hey, let's try to get to the perimeter more. Let's use our athleticism, let's use our speed. Now, the South, okay, they're gonna come out here and let's see what kind of adjustments they use, and you know, I think it's gonna be more of a healthy dosage of Andy Smigera. See Jacob Clare there, another North Tonawanda product that pleasure of coaching, and his younger brother Tyler, who's a quarterback for us, came in and won a big game against Williamsville North. Their starting quarterback Ryan McDonough injured. Did a great job of managing the triple option offense, so very good football lineage in the Clare family as well. Jacob's going to be going to Ohio State this year.
Smigera, the handoff to Barsikowski. He's met in the backfield and dropped for a loss. Well, we've said that a few times today, and I don't think you probably said that a few times all year during the regular season.
No, but yikes, Dylan Hall from St. Joseph's having a whale of a game defensively. And it looked like Alec Deach also getting in there on the tackle, and Anthony Zagoria from Grand Island High School. So,
you know, Sean, some of our pregame thoughts mentioned the fact that we thought the South team would utilize their running game a little bit more, but on 3 different occasions they fell behind, and Smigera had the hot arm, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, we'll see how they're coming out with it. And
now that they've got the benefit of a lead, we may see a little bit more ground game, or not. Smigera's pass behind the intended receiver, bringing up third down and long.
And again, trying to go back to a timing pattern there. He was looking to throw to Johnson, and he kind of just taps himself saying, hey, my bad, I didn't break that route off where I was supposed to.
The pass was intended for Stephen Johnson, coverage from Kyle.
So now they're down and long, and it's like, okay, well, what are we gonna see now here? You know, both teams trying to get into a rhythm here in the second half.
It worked so well in the first half, not necessarily by design, but out of necessity. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Smigera get on the move, roll out, and look for his options.
Oh, that's, you know, and again, Coach Krasansky talked about end playing and contain, so.
Smigera with a straight back drop. Has a man downfield. They can't connect, though. That was right around the first down marker intended for Scott Ackerman. It would have been a first down. Instead, it's going to bring up fourth down.
Yeah, Denzel Benton did a great job. Good recognition. And they tried going back to that little skinny post route, and he was sitting right there to take it away. And under a little bit of pressure, and Smigera had to throw it maybe a little sooner than he wanted to, but still, what a throw. Look at that. How he put that on the numbers right there at the first down marker. And I mean, that is a big league throw. So now he's going to have to punt the ball, and he's actually back at a regular punt depth.
Back to receive for the North is Kyle Abernathy. No, excuse me, James Chambers. Ball bounces in front of Chambers, and he wisely lets it roll out of bounds.
That took a great south bounce as that continued to roll, and they're going to be backed up inside their own 20-yard line to start their second possession. And we'll see Trent Ferguson come out at quarterback to lead the North squad. And again, we'll see what
they
go up here.
That's a 45-yard punt by Smigera.
You're watching the 38th edition of the Kensington Lions Club Section 6 High School All-Star Game featuring seniors from the 2013 class. North in navy blue, they've got the ball. The South in white have the lead. 23-21 the score early here in the third quarter.
For the North, number 6, Trent Ferguson.
So Ferguson back in for the North at quarterback after Cirillo's seen a number of series late in the first half and the first series here in the second half. Pass dumped over to Shaq Nettles. He picks it up. Gain of about 4 on the play.
Gain of 6 yards.
Being able to contain him has been a big thing, and
you
know, with Shaq Nettles, and again, they came out with that. They wanted to try that little back shoulder play too, and again, you can see the similar thinking in these coaching staffs. It's pretty cool to see it, and great pursuit from the South defense as they were able to get in there and gang tackle per se, get people to the football. So nice 4-yard gain for the North, 5-yard gain to start things off.
Trent Ferguson, a tall quarterback, a big guy at 6'3", 205 pounds, out of Williamsville South, where he plays for, well, his current coach here today, Craig Kurzanski. Ferguson is going to air one out, way downfield. He had a man for a moment. Single coverage, way downfield. The pass is incomplete.
And they were going up top to Denzel Benton there, picking on Wierzeniak. And, just out of the play, good coverage. Wierzeniak was right in his hip pocket with him, and the ball just fell out. So now you got a third down and long 5 situation there, and Benton's like, oh man, I almost had that one. So
let's go downstairs to Mike Scott.
Thanks, guys. I'm with Robert Buno, offensive lineman from the South All-Stars. What's it like life in the trenches tonight?
It's great. It's always good. Running that ball, pounding it, having my teammates out there left and right to help me out. It's even better now because I got guys our skill level out there giving it to us back.
What's this whole experience like? You went to Depew. You're playing alongside some of your arch rivals from Alden.
It was a trip at first. We weren't sure how we were going to get along. Me and Ryback were talking about it, but honestly, we've gelled. We get along great, and it's fun not to have to go against each other now and get to enjoy each other a little bit.
Your team stepped up the defense there on that first defensive series. What adjustments were made at the half?
We just talked about tightening down our defense and our coverage and all that, and about coming together as a team and starting to gel a little bit and talking a little bit more.
All right, Robert, thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Back to you, Dave.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Back down on the field. This is Ferguson in the shotgun. Third down and short. Pass is complete. Nettles picks up the first down and more. So they will move the chains as he gets past the 30-yard line, and that's a first down for the North.
Yeah, and we mentioned that with the the coaching staffs for both these teams here. They like to throw the football a little bit. Third down and run. You're usually in a run situations there, and let's throw a little hitch here because we like our matchup here on the perimeter. Shaq Nettles, and how can you not like the matchup really against anybody? I'll tell you what, it would be a lot of fun to watch Johnson and Nettles cover each other, and I got to kind of do some one-on-one drills with them in that camp that I was alluding to earlier, watching the two of them play and just throw passes to them. That was a lot of fun. That was a nice experience. So, kind of heck of an athlete for Nettles.
First down from the 34-yard line. The handoff across the 35, but not yet much more, and now a flag on the play. That's going to be a late hit from Shaq Nettles. Shaq Nettles taking advantage of one of the defensive backs after the whistle.
Yeah, really kind of the first flag we've had in this game here.
Literally. Matt Palma, the referee.
Certainly, that kind of came out of left field, really. I mean, Nettles just made that great play. I know he took some hits on the sidelines, but, really not a necessary penalty to have. And
penalty against the North.
That's going to be a dead ball. And it looks like that Coach Krasinski's going to pull him out and have a little talking to his star receiver, and we'll allow Lonnie Taylor to come back in from Medina. But again, moving backwards, you don't want to do that in that situation. I mean, we're getting positive yards, things were going well, and have a penalty away from the ball. You don't definitely want to do that. And
so Nettles has to face not only his coach here today, but the same guy coached him at Williamsville South. That's not an easy walk to take after taking a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Brings up second and a country mile. Ferguson back in the shotgun, takes the snap, feels some pressure, can't get away, taken down at the 20-yard line.
Jason Bunk and Chris Finney getting in there, and Bunk started that one, and Chris Finney finished nasty, and did just a great job of getting to the ball, and he was a load back there, and again, good pressure. Ferguson eludes the first one, and then Bunk says, nope, you're not going any farther than that. And Chris Finney coming in there again. 2 players from the Section 6 Class B championship game last year at Ralph Wilson Stadium, a game that you and I worked together, partner.
Yep. Good pressure. Ferguson couldn't break it. It brings up 3rd and 24.
A very long 24 yards. So, again, that 15-yard penalty was pretty crucial and hurt.
especially in a 2-point game.
Quads.
4 receivers at the top of your screen. Ferguson takes the snap, rolls to his left, feels some pressure, breaks the first tackle. Oh, and he's going to be gang tackled on the second. Good hit there from number 35, Jonathan Thomas.
Hit hard by number 35.
And he came up very quick there, recognized the run. And
Ryan Johnson there too.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a heck of a game for this South defense. And, man, they're doing a great job stifling the North. And I'll tell you what, I mean, Mike Fata from Cheektowaga is running this defense. And there aren't too many better defensive minds in Western New York than Mike Fata. And, you know, these guys are just disciplined. They're well prepared for what they're going to see. And, you know, doing a heck of a job here, keeping this athletic North squad in check.
Kick is away high into the lights. Stephen Johnson at his own 40 fields it. Breaks the first tackle, 45. Still on his feet. Now taken down at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Gilhausen was down there first trying to track him. And, you know, Gilly got in there first and broke the tackle. Johnson broke another one. And Gilhausen was finally able to drag him down about 5-6 yards later. But again, you just the athleticism of Stephon Johnson, and you know, it's been very spectacular. He's made some great plays for the South squad today. And
Alec Deach, one of the premier linebackers in Western New York this season. Good look at him. Out of Clarence, heading to, I believe, St. Lawrence University.
Yep, and you know, just a great ball player, and again, great lineage.
Smagera swings it off to Brooks. Brooks tries to get the corner, straddles the sidelines. He stepped out. They're going to say he was out.
Well, again, that's the cushion that was given. You know, they were playing 9 yards off the ball, and they just threw that little quick screen to the Z receiver, and that was Brooks. And great stiff
Look
arm.
at that stiff arm.
Yikes!
Oh. Stepped out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
Barely,
so
too.
Bring up 1st and 10.
Yeah, he tightrope that one, man. I'll tell you, that's a great athletic play from Shaquille Brooks. And, you know, again, just right now, after that halftime, trying to get Smagera back into a rhythm. And
looks like these two have played together all year, doesn't it?
Oh,
Smagera and Brooks.
They look so comfortable, him and Johnson. He's on the same page with all of his receivers.
Smagera back to pass one more time. Some good blocking. He has time. Now he doesn't. Boy, that window closed quickly.
Yeah, throws that one away, and then we're going to get an intentional grounding penalty here on Smagera. Maybe the first bad decision of the night, but that's going to lose the down and they'll lose some yards too. So, you know, again, can you go over how even this game is? Now, here you go. You had a big loss of yards penalty after the fact, so you lost the yards and the down, and now you're going to lose the down here as well and yardage too. So they have a big penalty to start their drive off. And
in the first half, the team swapped touchdowns. North scored first. South tied it at 7. North scored again, 14-7. South made it 14-14. North 21-14. And then the safety made it 21-16, and the late touchdown from Corey Barsakowski on that 20-yard touchdown reception with under 2 seconds to go in the half has given the South their 2-point lead. Smagera on 2nd down, throws it downfield, overthrows the intended receiver, and we're going to have a flag in the backfield. So a penalty-free first half, and we've had 3 quick flags here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and the South, or the North sideline rather, is kind of up in arms because they were considering that ball uncatchable. It looked to me a little uncatchable, but you know, they did throw the flag, and you know, they're going to get the first down with that. So that's huge for the South squad, as you know, that's going to give them an automatic first down, 15 yards. And you know, again, that's huge to get that yardage back that was lost on the intentional grounding penalty. And it's actually going to be 2nd down, and they're not going to have enough yardage to cover the whole first down. Enough yardage to get it. And you can see here just over his head, they bumped him a little bit early. No doubt about it that there was contact on the play. That's going to make it a much more manageable 2nd down and 6.
Smagera with an empty backfield, 3 wideouts to the near side. He's going to roll this way and keeps it, goes up the gut. Runs into a pile of defenders, picks up a couple, but it will be 3rd down.
Yeah, they were sitting on that one there. And The first one to make contact in there was Greg Hollow from Kenmore West. Looked like Kari Damos got in there too. Damos, the product of Lockport High School. If I can, I don't think it was him. Trying to get a number on the jersey there rolled up, a little difficult, but in any event, now you got a 3rd down and 5.
Smigera barking out the signals. Clock continues to move. Swing over to Brooks on the near side. Taken down at the 30, and he'll be just short of the 1st down. It looks like it's going to be 4th and short.
Yeah, Shavetti came out there to make the tackle and about a yard short. So, hey, when you're getting a 4-yard play on that, not bad. So now you got a 4th down and 1.
And Corey Barsakowski at your disposal.
Yeah, let's see. We got Barsakowski out there on the field. Coach Delaney barking out the orders, what he wants. And that big line, Somerville and pardon me, the player that made the tackle on that one was Clayton Smith from Barker Royhart, who was in on that last play. I couldn't tell his jersey was kind of rolled up there. It's unfurled, so him and Somerville are going to be in a test here with Diamond in the backfield.
All right, here we go. 4th and 1 as we approach 6 minutes remaining 3rd quarter. And a dead ball whistle and a flag down 2.
Yeah, that's you're going to have a false start here as Barsakowski jumped it just a little bit too early. And
that's a big penalty, taking it from 4th and 1 to 4th and 6, if indeed that's the call.
Hang on here, let's see. Yep, dead ball, false start, so that's going to back him up. And like you said, a 4th down and 6, Dave. It's going to change your play call slightly, I venture to believe. And yeah, they're going to bring out the big guys and put in the skill guys, the little fast guys again. I just missed it.
That step back with the left foot, and look at the North defenders pointing.
We got you, we got you, we got you. Corey was kind of like reset, like, I didn't move. I don't know what happened there. So, again, 4th down and a long 6, almost 7 yards needed.
Changes the complexion of the 4th down, but it doesn't change their minds. They're still going to go for it. Snap back to Smigera. Takes a look to the near side. Intended for Ackerman.
Incomplete. Intended for Scott Ackerman.
Would have been good for a 1st down. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Good cover from Meats in the backfield. Ackerman not happy with himself, but boy, not much you can do when you got to go up and try and get that one. So they'll turn the ball over on downs, and the North trailing by 2 points here in the 3rd quarter with 5:39 to play. Will take over 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we talked about Austin Meats and his playmaking ability, super athletic. You can see he does a great job of ball recognition, breaks on it well, and, realized he had to play the man on that one and broke it up. So we'll give the North a possession here.
Mike Torillo back in a quarterback, tosses over to the near side. Pass for Chambers incomplete.
Yeah, a little hitch inside they tried to hit him with. And again, the tough part right now that the North is dealing with is trying to get the quarterbacks into a rhythm because they're alternating every series. So it's not like you can kind of just go right back out there. You need to kind of stay loose and, get into a rhythm. Like you saw at the end of the 1st half, how much of a rhythm Smigera was in and how he was just clicking and every pass was on the money. Trying to get those guys back into an order. And there's a guy, that knows quite a bit about passing game. And
off to Chambers.
Staying in bounds, so the clock will continue to wind as Chambers was brought down in the field of play.
And again, great pursuit from the South defense. They very disciplined play and getting up there and holding an explosive players like Chambers pretty much under control has been pretty crucial.
Neither team able to move the ball as effectively as they did in the 1st half of play. As a result, we have no scoring so far with 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. No scoring in the 2nd half, that is. 23 points for the South, 21 points for the North, all coming in the 1st half of play. 3rd down and 11. Swing out to the flat. Gain of about 4. 4th and long.
I apologize, identifying the guy in the sidelines. That was Coach Stauffer from Grand Island, taking in the game and checking out the game. And his son, who was an up-and-coming North Tonawanda athlete, right there with him.
Good look at Nick Anderson out of JFK High School, headed to Buffalo State College.
I love this no punting thing. I wonder if like Craig texted Tim earlier and said, hey, let's just not punt the ball tonight. Let's just, try to go for it on 4th down as much as possible.
Well, it didn't work out too well for head coach Tim Delaney in that first half. He didn't have much of a choice on 4th and long deep in his own end, but the Smigera punt was blocked. That's a handoff on 4th down. He's close to the first down.
This spot.
No bad spot. They're going to turn it over.
He's short, and I thought he was short.
He is short by about a yard.
And you can see the South coaches there. It looked like Nick Anderson got in there. Chris Finney again, too. How about that? Springville High School, great job in that program. Great product of coaching from Robbie Valenti there. That's been drilled into his head for a couple of years. Great pursuit, didn't give up on it, and held him a yard short. And now the North, all right, might have their backs against the walls with the South having the football here inside the 50-yard line. They're going to bring it out for the measurement, but he's short.
He had to get to the other side of the stripe. That 45-yard line was about the 45.5 for a first down. He's had to be on the other side of the stripe. Put it that way. See the side of the stripe he's on? That's not good.
And his knee was down short of the stripe, so that was a great spot from a veteran officiating crew because his momentum carried him.
It's an easy call because the ball had to be on the other side of the line. Not criticizing the officials, but
no,
that's easy.
His knee was down. It just didn't get there. So here we go. And, if I'm Coach Delaney, I'm thinking, let's take a shot. Let's go 4 verts, something. And again, he has to get to the other side of the 45, and his knee is down.
Easily down.
Right there, yeah. So
great call, you're right.
Great spot. And Chris Finney, again, getting in on the tackle, making a great play. And product of the defensive mastermind of Robbie Valenti over at Springville High School, head coached by John Sopko.
Smigera out, quick swing out, far side on the flat to Brooks. Flag on the play.
And there's going to be a flag on the play here. It looked like they're going to call a hold on Ackerman, who's the inside receiver there. That corner came flying up, and he kind of had to wall him out of there. And take a look at Ryan Mullen of Cleveland Hill there. And the official Matt Palma. Send him back 10 yards from the spot of that foul. So it's going to bring up a second down at about 23, looks like, from where he's calling it.
We've seen a lot of that here in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, again, with the longer game, and again, the third quarter in football is always the toughest because you kind of get this lull effect where you're kind of thinking about, well, we just got out of halftime. It's hot. You don't have that adrenaline rush in the 4th quarter. The 3rd quarter always just kind of, trickles along there. So. 4 wide receiver set.
So now the snap. Smigera takes it. Has a man on the near side. Overthrew him. And that's going to bring up second down and long.
Yeah, I was looking for Alex Horvatis, St. Mary's High School again, and just overshot him. So now you got a second down and long. And, again, penalties have kind of been the stifling part here is, teams have had good field positioning, what looked like to be a good drive start.
Pretty good flow to the game in the first half, not so much here in the 3rd quarter.
No, tremendous. I was like, oh, man, what are they going to do?
Not a single penalty flag in the first half. That's part of the reason.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was just out firing at all cylinders.
Smigera, 2-step drop, launches one high.
Andy Smigera's deep pass intended for Shaq.
Pass intended for Shaq Brooks.
They're going to go back to that, Dave. They're going to come back to that one because they're getting a little bit closer than the first one there. But look at the throw, great. Throws it to a great spot. What's great about it is he threw it to a place where only his guy could get it, catch it. But again, good coverage. I'm trying to see who was in there with him on the coverage, and it looked like Billy Chiavetti was with them. So 3rd down and 22. And you can see Brooks here is a little
shaken up as he falls inside the sidelines.
You hope it's just a cramp. You hope that it's not like a hip flexor or an abdominal strain or something like that, because that would just be detrimental to be able to come back and play with that. And you hate to see that because, again, he had to deal with that ankle injury in the early part of the season that really hindered his, as you can see, great athleticism.
3rd and long as Smigera has flushed out of the pocket. Smigera near side, lets it go into traffic. He was hit late, roughing the passer.
They're going to throw that one, and again, Dylan Hall was in pursuit and a roughing the quarterback penalty on Smigera, and on a 3rd down and long, again, guys, know the situation. You hate to see a penalty like that because now, again, this will be an automatic 1st down. And
what was 3rd and 23 after the roughing the passer penalty.
And they were out of it. You're not going for it on 4th and 23.
No.
They are going to have to punt. And now, Coach Krasinski trying to plead his case.
Going to be a 1st down, automatic 1st down on 3rd and 23.
There was a penalty on the play, roughing the passer, the ball against the North.
That's huge.
It is. And again,
they just picked up the 23 yards they needed and then some.
It's been it hasn't been the likes of Smigera or Nettles here that's been dictating the play. It's been, it was Alec Deach who kind of got it late, and it's been the yellow laundry in the field that's dictated the tempo and play here in the 2nd half.
Smigera hands it off to Barsakowski inside to the 35, to the 30. Still on his feet. The strength of that young man, Corey Barsakowski. And he'll move the chains. Another 1st down for the South.
Man, he's good. Oh, man, he's good. They couldn't take him down. And that's pretty much, right there is no secret why he had 2,100 yards rushing this year. Nice to see Shaq Brooks back up. So hopefully, again, it was just a cramp here. But watch this. Here, how many guys does it take? He meets Howell getting in there, Tykeer Rollins getting in there, the whole entire North defense getting in there, Liam Ryan getting in there, Billy Chavetti getting in there.
Still on his feet.
Then get taken down.
Never did go down. The whistle stopped the play. As we approach 2 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 for the South and their quarterback, Andy Smarja. Picks it up, rolls to the near, Smigera to the near side. Oh, tried to get outside, and he was taken down at the 20. Smigera tripped up.
Great effort by Alec Deach. And Dave, again, we talked about his athleticism, but discipline. Very disciplined linebacker, father of a coach, and did a great job of just pursuing and selling out to make the effort because, again, it appeared that Smigera had the edge. He got outside of his contain there. Great job by Deach, just selling out to get that extra effort. And make it a 2nd down and 1.
Shoestring tackle there by Alec Deach. So Smigera in the shotgun, hands it off. Oh. Barsakowski brought down right around the 21-yard line.
Yeah, Deach filled on that one. Zagaria getting in there as well, but Alec Deach coming in to finish nasty on that one. And great fill on that. So no yards picked up on that one. So 3rd down and 1, and 2 big plays from Deach here. And if they can hold him off, again, don't let him get a yard here. I'm going to tell you what, they had Stephon Johnson playing really far inside. They could be setting up a fade and picking on Kyle Abernathy over on that wide side of the field here. As you see, look at his alignment is very tight to the formation. They might be trying to throw a fade to him sometime.
3rd and 1. Smigera falls just short. Would have been a 1st down, but Ryan Johnson couldn't hang on, and that'll stop the clock with 36 seconds to go. And it brings up 4th down and 1.
And Johnson's cramping up here at the, close to the goal line here, and he's going to have to come out and, again, they had the 2 vertical routes, but yeah, Johnson's kind of cramped up here and, trying to wobble off the field. Johnson just didn't get a clean hand on that ball. Had a hand on it barely, and then Scavetti came in there to make sure that he wouldn't, but here you go, big stop, 4th and 1, and Johnson's going to have to get 10-2 here on the sideline, and
looks very awkward as he gets some assistance coming off the field. Stephen Johnson has had a big game on the big stage here under the lights in Orchard Park today. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Certainly, and again, we talked about the humidity on the field, and the fact that he's cramped up, and that's hard to deal. He had a little smile. Hey, just help me down here. Give me some water, please. Stretch me out. So, he'll get him stretched out. Now, anyway, now you go 4th down and 1. This is a big play right here, and you got Barsakowski in the backfield with 2 big hosses here in the backfield with Ryan Johnson at fullback. And it appears to be Zach Marshall from West Seneca West back there as well. So let's see if they can pick up the 1 yard here.
Smigera takes it. Barsakowski up the middle. 1st down and more. Nice hard run there from number 21 from Alden High School, Corey Barsakowski.
Yeah, and, the Alden contingent is out strong tonight. That's for sure. Quite a few people have made the trip. Quite a few guys on my JV team made the trip to watch the game. That's pretty cool. And out here to support Corey Barsakowski and Jason Bunk and the South squad. And never a bad answer when he gained that many yards for you in the fall to get just a couple more here to get that 1st down.
That may be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Smigera steps to the line of scrimmage. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter play. So the score remains the same. It was 23-21 South at the half. We're going to head to the 4th quarter at the same score. Back under the lights in Orchard Park next on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.
Just a few minutes, we will have the winning ticket in the 50-50 raffle.
Good look at the American flag here as summer, hard to believe, winding down in Western New York. The Erie County Fair next week, and you know what they say here in the Buffalo area, Erie County Fair means the unofficial end of summer.
Yeah, how about these guys? You want to talk about a lot of football there. Two of Buffalo State's finest. Gene Zinni there on the left with the glasses, and Bernie Oslin's there on the right. And they were both at Jim Fowler's wedding. And,
I didn't get the invite.
Yeah, I missed that one too. But I'll tell you what, those are two guys that know a lot about football. Had the opportunity to sit down with Coach Zinni before and listen to him lecture about football. It was excellent.
Smigera on 1st down, throws it over the middle. Good coverage. It falls incomplete. That play takes just 5 seconds off the clock as we start the 4th quarter of play. So 14:55 to go. 23-21, the South All-Stars leading the North All-Stars here under the lights in Orchard Park. Alongside my broadcast partner, Sean Brusso, our sideline reporter, Mike Scott, our producer-director, David D., and the entire Time Warner Cable Sports Channel crew. My name is David Miller, and you're watching the 2013 Kensington Lions Club All-Star Game, the 38th annual edition, pitting teams in Section 6 from the north against teams from the south, and oh yeah, they're also members of the 2013 senior graduating class. Ackerman picks it up at the 15-yard line and then hauled down. Gain of about 3 on the play.
What a great job there by Austin Meats, okay? I mean, let's talk this. They tried throwing the bubble screen to Ackerman, and he's coming up limping off. Hopefully that's just a cramp too. Somebody get him some pickle juice, but they just threw the bubble.
Just a warm, hot, humid day.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, and you're on the turf, so it's naturally hotter and more humid down on the turf, and we're very nice and comfortable up here, high above the field here at Orchard Park High School. But a great job by Meeks to come up and force that bubble screen. He was the inside guy. Hard to pick him up on a block, but he did a great job. Ackerman tried to dance out of there, and he just kind of shimmied up here. So
3rd down and a long 7. The ball spotted right around the 15-yard line. Smagera rolls to his right but looks left.
Got him.
Throws to his left, wide open in the end zone, touchdown! Wide open in the end zone.
Was Alex Horvatis from St. Mary's. And hey, Dave, I'll tell you what a great play call that was. They rolled Smagera out to the right, set his feet, threw it backside for the 16-yard touchdown, and there was nobody in the Orchard Park zip code to cover Alex Horvatis on that one. Great play from Smagera, and hey, you know, you got to start having this MVP discussion. You know, do we need to have much of a discussion?
I was going to say, I don't know if it's much of a discussion.
Terrific. Tom Joya hitting the extra point, and we have a 30-21 lead. And man, I mean, look at this here. Everybody rolls, and he just kind of put it up there and said, "Oh man, he was so wide open. Don't screw this throw up." And what a great call from Coach Delaney here on the south sideline, and you know, wide open. And Horvatis has had a very nice game. And I'll tell you what, he played at St. Mary's High School, a product of head coach Dave Hersey there, who has done a very nice job with that program, who at one point went through 5 different head coaches in 5 years, one of them being Craig Krasansky, and you know, kind of got that program back, you know, back to some stability just by being there for a couple years, and has done a great job. They played Canisius High School closer than anybody did last year. They lost that game 30-27. And they're going to have a very strong season. They got a kid by the name of Nick Vallone returning. And you have, you know, just a very nice program. And Bobby Desiderio is playing in there at linebacker for the South squad. So some great representation for the St. Mary's Lancer program. Dave Hersey, he was the coach of the South squad last year. His father, Tom Hersey, who used to be the coach at Canisius College, was on that staff as well.
Smagera, who just threw his 4th touchdown pass of the day, kicks off. Gilhausen cuts the corner to the left.
Oh, great tackle.
Brought down right outside the 30-yard line. That was Denzel Benton.
And a little extracurriculars going in on there. And try to see who made the first contact on that tackle, because Benton had a full head of steam, and it looked like he was one tackle away from going the distance on it. And you know, again, we got a little, again, some extracurriculars in. Get a look at the replay there, who made that first tackle, because man, I'll tell you what a great play. That was, you know, could have been a touchdown saving tackle, because you know, Benton certainly has the capability of taking it the distance, and it will be assessed to the south. So yeah, you see Benton getting out here, and it was still trying to see a red helmet in there, and it appeared from Cassadaga Valley, Tage Rader getting in there on the tackle. So a huge play from them, because
so the blue team is the North All-Stars, with Ferguson rolling to his left, feeling pressure, has nowhere to go. He's going to be dropped for a loss of about 6 on the play.
And again, it broke down, and Cliff Brown from McKinley High School got in there to make the play. Huge stop, and the South, man, is just, you know, pursuing the ball. Great defense.
Cliff Brown, 6'1", 240, out of McKinley, headed to Erie Community College, and he says, "Yeah, I did it. I did a good job."
Tyler Studd getting in there as well, and that's all he did last year was sack quarterbacks. Had 16 sacks last season from Springville. He's going to Butte Junior College in California, and you want to know who else came from Butte Junior College in California?
I can't imagine.
Aaron Rodgers.
No kidding.
That's where Aaron Rodgers went through him. They got a scholarship at the University of California, and I guess the rest is history.
History that's still being written with the Green Bay Packers of the National Football League.
A very expensive history.
Ferguson with a long pass downfield, missed his intended receiver, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 15.
Yeah, take a shot to your high school teammate there and look to throw the ball up to Shaq. And, you know, I mean, here, if Coach Krasansky ever needed to kind of dial up a play here, he has the ability to do that, because again, having the quarterback that you're comfortable with, that knows your system inside and out. And just over there, over his head, as Brian Ryback in from Depew was also in on the coverage.
This is the head coach for the North from Williamsville South, Craig Kurzanski. The quarterback right now for the North, Trent Ferguson from Williamsville South, and the intended receiver, as you mentioned, Shaq Nettles, also from Williamsville South. So again, it's Ferguson back to pass, rolls out of the pocket to the near side, puts one up past midfield again. Missed his intended receiver. And speaking of Williamsville South, during the regular season, they posted a record of 4-2 in the division, only 5-4 overall in Class A. But they did score 268 points.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, kind of had some things not go their way. I mean, obviously, 2 of those losses were to West Seneca East. They had to deal with some, you know, just had a couple, you know, you have those weeks in football sometimes where just, you know, things just don't go your way, and you run into some hot teams. And, you know, I mean, they lost a tough one to Iroquois, and, you know, they just kind of didn't have a part. But I'm going to tell you what, you know, again, a great program, have a tremendous amount of respect for them. They're playing Orchard Park this year. They're one of the only teams in Western New York that said, hey, you know what, let's play them. They need a non-league game. Yeah, let's play them. And, you know, which will be a lot of fun because you'll have Eric Jancy, who was at North Tonawanda, who's coaching with Orchard Park now, and Rick Tom, who was coaching at North Tonawanda, is coaching at Williamsville South now. So you'll get to see that, which will be a world of fun week 4 this year.
Towering kick, but it's short, and it takes a little bit of a bounce in favor of the South. They're going to down it at the 34-yard line. And that's where they'll take over. 9-point game, 30-21 with 12:20 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I mean, we expected a high-scoring game, and, you know, I kind of thought the North would put up some more points, and, you know, I was kind of surprised. I mean, the South's playing very scrappy on defense, but, you know, the South has a chance to, if they can tack on another score here, they could maybe hypothetically put the nail in the coffin. It'd still be a 2-score game, but how emotionally deflating can that be to, you know, you come in and you're hyped up and you're very heavily favored, and, you know, it's hard to judge with these games, you know, and which I'm being reminded by Mr. David D. that because, you know, I gave the North a lot of that, where I thought the North was able to score points at will here, and again the South defense has just done a great job, played great disciplined football, and proved a lot of people, including myself, wrong.
Smigera with a handoff in the backfield.
Andy Smigera's handoff goes to number 27.
No gain for Tyler Miller. He's brought down right at the line of scrimmage, and a little extracurricular activity there after the whistle.
Yeah, and, you know, the adrenaline's going, the competitiveness on the field is getting a little chippy, and that's, you know, that's pretty standard, I would assume, for really any high school football game. So Clayton Smith getting in there on the tackle is along with Alec Deach, and, man, we have called his name all over the night, and, you know, you sit there and you look at the rosters and you try to digest the rosters and you look at it from every angle that you possibly can. And I'll tell you what, I mean, he was the one player going into this game that I thought had the potential to have a big game and break out. Just like last year where we talked a lot about Jed Jastrzemski, and I said, hey, you know, watch this guy play. He can really play, and he ended up being the defensive MVP. So,
man in motion for Smigera, who takes the snap. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage. A great defensive play there by Dylan Hall.
A great job, Khalil Somerville. Or actually, it was Dylan Hall again. He's had a whale of a game for this North defense as well. You know, St. Joe's product, Dennis Gilbert.
Going to John Carroll University.
And, you know, again, he is a very, very solid football player. And you see, look at this great recognition. Says, hey, you know what, I don't have the ability right now. He was being blocked by Mullen.
Just put your hands up. Good things can happen, and they did that time.
Yeah. You know, and, you know, sometimes, again, you just got to be a creator there, and that's a heady play for the defensive end.
3rd down and 9. Smigera drops back, goes down the middle. Caught by Johnson. He's hit hard, but hangs on. Stephen Johnson having a big day today.
Great hit from the other Clarence linebacker, Principali, but again, first off, the zip that he had to put on that ball, that Smigera threw on that ball, and again, I wonder who's keeping statistics, because I would love to see what his numbers are right now. But look at this, he puts it on a rope in the window. Principali finishes nasty, but great job and great concentration from Johnson. Again, had some dehydration issues here early in the 4th quarter, but has come back out with vengeance.
You know, Stephen Johnson has been on the receiving end of at least 3 passes over 20 yards. He's picked up a touchdown. He's having a big day too. Smigera's thrown 4 touchdowns. This time he's going to hand off the left side of the line. Good for about 3.
And, you know, whenever he's needed a big play, he's gone to Johnson today. And, you know, and again, like I said, couldn't happen to a nicer kid. You know, just a great football player, great young man, and he's going to have a very, very strong future. Hey, there's some deer over there. Somebody alert Coach Jancy that there's some deer here in the backyard. They wanted to come check out all the action. Somebody told them that was going to be exciting. Don't come hang around me in September or October, November, anytime there, though.
An avid outdoorsman, are you?
Trying to be. Going fishing a lot lately.
I can imagine that. Sean Brousseau, gone fishing. Smagera rolls to his right, feels the pressure. Pass incomplete.
And Ackerman was looking for a flag there, but great coverage from Sean Marshall, and I was very impressed with him. And we did the Depew Burgard game again. It seems like we did a lot together in the fall there, and he was a player that was exceptional for Burgard, and definitely caught my eye heading into the game, having a have a very solid game. And he's just a tremendous athlete. They've tried to get him the ball a little bit on offense too, and he'll be heading to Edinburgh University this fall and continue his football career there. Again, it's great. You love to see, because sometimes at the city and the former Harvard Cup schools don't exactly get the recognition. But there's some kids that can play. You can see that with Johnson and obviously Marshall, and getting some recognition and getting to go to a place like Edinburgh to play football is outstanding.
3rd down and 8 for the offense of the South. Smagera's pass for Ackerman, wide open, takes it 20-yard line, and he's brought down there, but not before. Picking up the first down, they'll move the chains and have a first down to the 20.
And I'll tell you what, there's nothing I love more than those little receivers like that in the slot that are maybe not the biggest guys, but man, they run great routes. It's like Wes Welker. You kind of get that, the Danny Amendolas of the world, that they're quick, they run great precise routes. The guy last year in the game, Eddie Crises from Grand Island, loved his game. He made some great plays last year. He went to Brockport to play. So again, just tremendous ability. And again, you talk about statistics. Where's Fleetwood when we need him? My goodness. I want to know what their 3rd down and 4th down completion percentage is and their conversion rates, because those have got to be off the charts.
So first down for the South from the 20. Handoff. Corey Barsakowski up the left side of the line, and he'll pick up a few on the play.
And get a good 4 tough yards there. And again, great vision. Hall kind of did a good job, anchored his feet in the ground, held contained, and Barsakowski made a great cut off his outside foot to get those extra yards. And again, ECC's getting a heck of a ball player. His brother Christian was an exceptional athlete too, all Western New York football player, and he was drafted by the Atlanta Braves a couple of years ago. Except Corey's about 6'2", Christian was about 6'7". Great genes. My father got to see his father Tom before the game today.
Smagera, quick one-step drop and the pass out. Taken by Brooks.
Oh, man. Well, they had Liam Ryan there on the coverage, and Shaquille Brooks just threw a stiff arm, and yep, there's the, like we said, the issues of cramping.
Second time today we've seen that.
Reminds me to take a sip of water up here.
Yeah, because we don't want to see you in that position getting worked out.
I beg to differ. And you could see, again, we talked about that was going to be one of the factors. And, it's kind of funny that the first half, the factor was, the exceptional quarterback play for the North. For the second quarter, the X factor was Magera. Third quarter, the X factor was the officials. And now here we go. The humidity is right now the factor for the fourth. And
there's been a long second half, and there's still 8:04 to go here in the fourth quarter.
We had mentioned that it's basically like a whole nother, playing a whole nother fifth quarter. I mean, right now this would be where the regular game would be over with if it were a true high school game, and now they're adding that extra time on. We're past that. There's Coach Delaney right now, and you take a look at him, and very calm and composed. Very, very good football coach, and love the opportunity to be able to talk with him. He played in the 1998 game, and we have some of those other coaches too on this list. Get this list of who's who in West New York that have played this game. We talked about Dave Hersey, played in '85. Dean Santoro at Grand Island in '86. Eric Jancy of Orchard Park.
Orchard Park these days, yeah.
Still a biology guy at North Tonawanda, though. He's 1987 game. Rob Gross, who's the head coach at Tonawanda High School in '89. Adam Stoltman, who was the head coach at Alden High School a few years ago, is now the acting superintendent. interim superintendent at 89. Brian Wild and Dave Mansell of Lancaster in that one. Dave Hack, who's the athletic director here at Orchard Park, played in this game in 1990. We talked about Kevin Lester, 92. Lackawanna's Adam Tardif was in the game in 1993. Craig Dana, who's the defensive coordinator here at Orchard Park, in 94. Mike Fata in 95, Tim Delaney 98, and then Tom Langworthy in 99, who's the head coach at Jamestown. And another name of all those legends to be added to that list is that man right there, Andy Smagera, from West Seneca East. And again, he'll be shipping off tomorrow morning, actually, going to Robert Morris University. He's leaving at, I believe, if I remember correctly, 8 a.m. to head and begin his college career and his college life. I see Coach Delaney and Coach Fata down there on the sidelines, and a long break here as they attempt to Shaq Brooks, who is up and walking off through the end zone. And Mike Fata of Cheektowaga High School. And, they look to have a very solid team this year. Kind of an up and down year for the Warriors last year. 8-1 record, nothing to be ashamed of there. Had a very good group. Lost to Springville in
Cheektowaga. That was one heck of a game that you and I had the pleasure of calling.
Yeah, a great game. And I'll tell you what, he had a lot of sophomores and juniors playing in that game and playing very competitively with a very solid Springville team. So as you look at Brooks coming off the field, so Cheektowaga looks to be pretty solid in the Class B North this year, and that man Mike Fata, and of course Scott Zipp, who would be remiss if we didn't mention him. Another one of their coaching staff, Aaron Vanderlip, played in this game as well. So Cheektowaga is very well represented tonight.
All right, after the cramp up of Brooks, we get back into action. Defensive pile-up as Barsakowski was stood up.
They still haven't taken him down.
2nd and goal. We'll go downstairs to Mike Scott.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. I'm here with Jonathan Thomas, and you guys have really tightened up on defense. How have you gotten it done?
Oh, we've been in position, the whole time. We just minimized our mistakes, and finally we're starting to capitalize and finally lock down.
What's this experience been like for you, playing against some rivals and playing football in midsummer?
Oh, it's amazing. We've been back and forth with the rivals, throughout the years, and it's kind of fun to just be together. I still poke fun at them sometimes, but playing together has been a great experience.
All right, Jonathan, thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Dave.
Thanks a lot, Mike. And there's going to be a timeout on the field, 2nd and goal. South calls timeout, and South Park head coach and today's South team head coach, Tim Delaney, wants to talk things over.
I wonder what he's going to come up with here. I mean, again, the North has done a pretty nice job of keeping the running game of Barsakowski and Smagera under control. It's been the passing game.
Congratulations to our 50th
So
winner, Eric.
Don't forget to tune into the Enforcers 2 times a week. Twice the fun, twice the pleasure. Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. right here on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. Marlon Kerner and Reuben Brown, former Buffalo Bills, Rob Ray and Andrew Peters, former tough guys with the NHL's Buffalo Sabres. Catch it twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, 6 o'clock. Pull up a chair. You've got the best seat in the house for the Enforcers.
I think after this long one tonight that we're going to have to shack up and just relax and watch it. So
this has turned into a marathon game. The first half, very entertaining. The teams would exchange touchdowns, then the safety, then the late touchdown from Barsakowski. Then a penalty-plagued third quarter took the tempo away. Now some cramping injuries and long 4th downs have changed the tempo of this game tremendously. There's still 7:14 to go here in the 4th quarter.
And Smagera forced out of bounds there. Did throw an interception, but appears here that Smagera stepped out. So he lost some yards there. So 3rd and goal from the 10. And, we'll see what Coach Delaney's going to dial up. Stephon Johnson coming back into the game. Trying to pan on the sideline here to see if Brooks has re-entered the game yet. It looks like he is in. Tom Joya trying to warm up a little bit. The Time in High School product will be playing football at Alfred next year and continue his career as a kicker.
This is a 3rd and goal. Smagera takes it, 1-step drop, swing on the near side. Picked up by Johnson, makes one man miss, goes to the inside, stays in bounds, heads to the end zone, touchdown, Johnson. Johnson.
One word for you, competitor. Just an outstanding effort. Great blocking at the point of attack on the quick screen, and you know, sometimes you just got to get the ball into the hands of your athletes and let them make plays. And in an all-star game, that is his 5th touchdown pass of the game.
And Johnson's 2nd touchdown reception.
And you know, again, just what a phenomenal effort. And you know, the most passing yardage in a game, you have to go back to 95. Joya's extra point is good, 37-21. Take a look at the replay here. Good blocking on the perimeter. Ackerman breaks Marshall's tackle, breaks another one, breaks Principali's tackle, and just barely gets in. Nucciarino was almost there. Again, good pursuit.
Stiff arm, juke inside, sheer strength. Breaks the shoestring tackle and dives for the goal line. That had a little bit of everything.
He broke 4 tackles in a matter of 10 yards to get into that end zone.
4 different manners.
Yes, not like just, oh, okay, I'm just going to bounce off everyone. He got in.
One guy juked another guy with his hips, used his power, broke a shoestring tackle, and dove to the goal line.
Well,
just another day at the office, if you look at his face and his expression.
Most passes caught in the game is 10. Mark Pollard in 1979 from Tonawanda, but the most touchdown passes thrown is just shattered. Tyler Seifert from Lakeshore in 96 and Chris Metz from Timon in 77. That's just shattered right now. Those were at 3. Most passing yardage, 250. Eric Russin from Amherst in the 95 North team. I'm going to guess that was probably shattered. And he's getting close to Joe Licata's number, I would imagine, of most passes completed at 20 from just 2 seasons ago. But what a tremendous day for Andy Smigera. I want to find the stat guy.
Kickoff fielded, brought to the 20-yard line, to the 25. That's where the North will take over. So a new Kensington Lions Club All-Star Game, a record. Andy Smigera's 5th touchdown pass eclipses the old record of 3. What a day he has had.
And Ian Gilhousen on the return there. You take a look at him. As you can see, the South trio there. You can see Ackerman and Smigera. And just we get some more cramping issues here. It looks like Tyler Miller is the latest one to succumb to the issues there.
So on first down, Torillo back to pass, has a man open in the middle of the field, and then brought down just past midfield was Justin Slango.
Yeah, Slango, you know, brought that in. He's a nice little player. Again, you know, not a lot of people make the trek up to Wilson. You should. It's a very nice place to kind of be, and you know, 27-yard gain, and he's a heck of a ball player. You know, I haven't seen him play. I didn't get a chance to watch Wilson play. Just, you know, you don't get up there, but you know, very, very solid.
Mike Torillo, the quarterback, with a man in motion coming to the near side. Torillo, 2-step drop, steps up in the pocket, goes downfield. The pass intended for Shaq Nettles broken up.
And it was incomplete, and Nettles was kind of in an area where he wise to knock it down. And Coach Krzyzanski, you know, appears to be trying to draw something up here and see what they could execute for the 2nd down and 10 play.
At one point late in the 2nd quarter, the North team had a 21-14 lead after Mike Torillo tossed a 15-yard touchdown pass, but after that, the safety and 3 straight touchdowns from the South have given the South the benefit of a 37-21 lead. Biggest lead of the day for either side. Torillo swings it out in the flat, cut to the inside, nice couple of moves, still on his feet to the 30-yard line, and finally brought down. It's Chambers using his legs and using his strength. First down, North.
Yeah, he's kind of had a quiet night. You know, you can see what he did there athletically. He has that capability. And again, hey, this is only a 2-score game. I mean, this is a 16-point game. You score, get the 2-point conversion, you get the ball right back. And, you know, now granted, you got to try to stop the South squad, but he packed on 2 touchdowns here in the 4th quarter.
Torillo, hand off to Chambers. He's brought down, a loss of 2 on the play. That'll bring up 2nd down and 12.
Great play from Brian Ryback, came in there and made the tackle. So again, now the North is going to kind of have to pick up their tempo a little bit. As we approach the 5-minute mark to go here in the fourth quarter.
Second down and 12. Torillo calls for the snap, gets it, looks downfield, has a man for a moment. Pass was just behind the intended receiver. Coverage closed in. Pass incomplete. That'll bring up third down.
Good coverage back there. Mike Wierzeniak, the Maryvale product, made the play.
Coverage from the South team by Mike Wierzeniak.
And they were looking for Connors, the Grand Island wide receiver. Had a very good year for the Vikings. Class A North. Coach Dean Santoro.
Williamsville North posting a 4-5 record on the season, 2-4 in the division. Third down and 12. Torillo back to pass, another long one to the end zone.
He's got him.
Had him for a moment. Pass broken up, no flag on the play. Intended for Denzel Benton out of Canisius High School. Broken up, and now we'll go downstairs to Mike Scott.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Had a chance to talk to Jason Bunk on the sideline, who informed me earlier that while he was down on the turf, he had another teammate kind of land right on the top of his head, but just had to kind of shake the cobwebs out a little bit, and he'd be all right. And we saw him return to the game. Players on the sideline trying not to cramp up as well, trying to stay hydrated. It's a cool 75 degrees down here with very little breeze. Back up to you.
4:52 to go here in the fourth quarter. The North team wants to call timeout. They want to talk strategy on 4th and 12. Down by 16 points, 37-21 the score. Get a good look at head coach Craig Kruzanski out of Williamsville South, coaching the North squad here today.
And I want to go back here, and again, here's a guy that, again, not a lot of people have talked about, but Nick Anderson from JFK has had a whale of a game. He has done just a phenomenal job, and, just, again, very well back there in coverage. And, again, the Kennedy Bears have had a very solid season, and you can see he was kind of a big reason why, and he's had a very, very solid game. And the secondary, Ryback at strong safety, Hyman at corner, and Wierzeniak at corner. A little Cheektowaga Depew area connection.
This could be the ball game. 4th and 12. Torillo downfield, connects to this receiver. The catch was made, and a beauty it was. Ransom hauls it in. First down North.
Hank Ransom, yeah, that was huge, right at the sticks, and Wierzeniak just a second late to the ball. Finished with a great tackle. I thought he dislodged it from him, but, Torillo had him, threw a great ball in there and almost caught it, and Mike Scott almost in there checking out the weather apparently on the phone there.
A gain of 15 on 4th and 12.
And it looks like we have a discrepancy here at officials' timeout.
This second half has been a marathon, hasn't it?
It usually is. I mean, last year kind of flew by because the North squad up so much. They were up 48-6, kind of went to the double wing and just kept, running superpower and kind of kept that clock running. But, yeah, I mean, it usually does. I mean, it's a longer game. It's like a college length game. Obviously, the teams throwing the ball and incompletion stop the clock. And
we're approaching the 3-hour mark. Game started at 7, well, scheduled to start at 7. 9:58 on the clock right now, and there's still 4:18 to go here in the fourth quarter.
And another one of the great members of our media, Mary Jo Monin, just informed me the game started at 7:22. So we will hit that 3-hour mark with
scheduled
ease.
Start time.
Yes, deadlines to write.
Nonetheless, a long second half. Torillo, pass up, deflected, intercepted. Yes.
Nick Anderson.
You were just singing his praises.
And I'll tell you what, that was the JFK contingent. The Kennedy contingent is right in front of us here, and they are loving it. And so is Nick Anderson.
So is Nick Anderson, yeah.
So, how about that? Just, Torillo had it in there, and
that's that old linebacker tip drill. I mean, you see that all the time in practice.
Yeah, he was looking for Gilhausen, and Anderson was able to get it. And, You know, all smiles there on that sideline. Good for him, too. And I loved his game. He had a tremendous game tonight, and that just about seals the deal. But you never know because, hey, you never know with this one here. But
Anderson headed to Buffalo State. So with 4:37 to go, snap bobbled. Smagera trying to get out of trouble, and he does.
Like I said, you never know.
You almost jinxed him.
Oh. Like I said, you never know, but, you know, I'll tell you what.
Smagera, nice job to get out of trouble deep in his own zone.
And we got another player down on the far sideline here, again, succumbing to the heat. And we'll see who that is down on the far sideline there.
Well, we've got an injury timeout on the field. Let's check in with a third member of our broadcast team, Mike Scott.
Thanks, guys. I'm downstairs with Anthony Principali, linebacker from the North All-Stars. And Anthony, what's it like to be selected for this game?
It's an honor, really, being able to come out here and compete with the best athletes in Western New York. I mean, you're the best player on your team, and just to think you have the opportunity to come out here and play with such great athletes, it's just an honor.
Now you're heading off to Edinburgh. Is this a good opportunity for you to get in shape, get ready for Edinburgh?
Yeah, I believe it's a great opportunity. It's Division II football, so the intensity is going to be great, you know, in and out of the gym every day, and just being able to work with the other teammates and just become such a better athlete. I'm blessed and I'm excited.
Now, why did you choose to go to Edinburgh?
I chose Edinburgh because I love the coaching staff. They were all great to me, and I have a brother that also goes there. And talking to him, he told me it was a great school, great opportunities to play. So I'm really excited to just go out there and do my best.
All right, Anthony, thanks for taking the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Dave.
All right, Mike, 37-21 the score as they continue to attend to the injured player down on the field.
I still can't tell who it is. I think it's Billy Chiavetti from Newport, who'll be going to Mercyhurst here in the fall. Can't really tell. That doesn't look like his number on the jersey. You know, obviously a cramping situation here, and yep, there it is. Tucker Rulin from Barker Roy Hart, trying to narrow down who had the white helmets on. And I'll tell you what, too, these cramping delays, too, are tough because you're not moving around, and, you know, you can see Casey Nucciarino's there on the sideline or on the field trying to stretch out and stay loose there during that kind of a delay, and that's tough to handle, too.
All right, so Rulin is up and on the sidelines, and Smagera takes the snap, hands off to Barsikowski. He bowls his way to the 15-yard line and beyond. I don't think it's enough for a first down, but a pretty good run.
Yeah, we'll check the spot. It's close, and, you know, 10 yards on the play, and they're going to be about short here by the hair of my chinny chin. I mean, the marker is literally behind the first down marker, and Casey Nucciarino came up on the tackle. He's had a nice game, and Barsikowski a little wobbly, it looks like, hitting up here, and, you know, he looks a little dazed here. And again, you hate to see that, but well, he took a shot here, and you can see he's very. Oh yeah,
right
he got
there, a helmet to helmet shot.
He got popped on another one too.
And another off the ground. Yeah, that's.
Sean Marshall made the first contact, and he kind of got rolled over on it too. Right there.
Boy, there's one shot.
That's a solid collision.
There's another one, and then his head bounced off the turf too.
Yeah. And yeah. So you hope he's all right. He kind of looks a little dazed there on the sideline. So training staff going to take a look at him.
Boy, it's been a rough second half for injuries and cramping delays. That's for sure. He's one tough kid, but you don't want to take anything for granted here, especially when it comes to head injuries.
Certainly not, especially in an all-star game in this venue. You know, again, you don't want anybody to get hurt ever, but, you know, especially in an all-star game where you're going to be beginning your collegiate career soon, and, you know, certainly, you know, I mean, head injuries, you know, a lot of concern. There was a big article in the USA Today about possibly putting those special skull caps on helmets and that reduce impact, and, you know, it's, you know, certainly a, you know, something that's on the forefront of everybody's mind nowadays.
Third and literally inches for Smigera. Hands the ball off right into the middle of the pack. I don't think that's going anywhere.
No, they had that wrapped up. They give the ball, it looked like to Jackson Brown there, Timon. I'll tell you what, Timon High School had probably, in my opinion, the most, I enjoyed watching that. They're going to be short.
Jackson Brown also the starting goaltender for the varsity lacrosse team this year at Timon, which went on to win not only the Monsignor Martin Athletic Association Championship, but a New York State Small School Catholic Championship. They call him Stonewall for his goaltending ability.
Which again, to me, I hold the feeling that you just got to be a sick individual to play lacrosse goalie.
He's going to Hobart.
Give him a lot of credit. And I mean, I'll tell you what, he was one of the forefront players of that Timon defense this year, and that Timon defense was exciting to watch. They were physical. They were a physical group, and I love watching a physical group of defense that flies to the football.
Smigera punting for the second time today. The first one was blocked. He gets this one away.
Great punt.
And takes a bounce. Comes to rest at about the 44-yard line, and that's where North will take over. Inside 2 minutes to go. Just inside 2 minutes to go. 1:59 left on the clock.
And hitting the 2 minute mark. So now the North is going to come out here. It'll be Trent Ferguson, most likely a quarterback, and they're going to have to go into their 2 minute mode. And, you know, again, this is not over by any stretch of the imagination. The crowd is kind of filed out, but, you know, again, only a 2-score game here. And
crowd is filing out because it's a school night and it's about midnight.
Yeah, I'm ready for bed, that's for sure.
Nah, you're young.
I got football all day tomorrow.
I got the Italian festival all weekend. I'm looking very forward to it. Ferguson back to pass. Scrambles. Nice little foot toss to the near side. Chambers is brought down at the 35-yard line. The clock will continue to move. That's not good news for the North.
Great pursuit there. Chris Finney and Mike Brziniak getting in on the tackle, and they're able to finish him nasty. Nice job.
Little flip pass there. Shovel pass ahead to Chambers.
He's a little sore from that one, too. He took a good shot where Brziniak got in there low on him.
Man in motion. Ferguson in the shotgun. One man in the backfield. Ferguson takes a 2-step drop. Flushed out. Good pursuit there from Cliff Brown.
He's got the first down yardage, and there's going to be a timeout for the North squad. As Coach Krasansky wants to go attack something, it looks like. Stops the clock with 1:16 to go. How great would that be? You get an onside kick situation. You know, going back. So, hey, you know, we're just we're a mere 19 days away here from kickoff, as two-a-day practices will begin around Western New York. You got to be looking forward to that one, buddy.
I'm not going to be participating in any two-a-day practices at my age.
I can't wait. I'm very fired up and excited for that. And, you know, you'll have a full slate of high school football coverage here, and coverage like no other. And we'll be very, very excited to bring some great games to you this year. You know, and a great crew we have around here, certainly, you know, led by David D. and all of our crew around here on camera, working in the truck.
They've been working real hard at St. John Fisher College, covering the Buffalo Bills training camp, too. Nice of them to take a break and come do some all-star high school football coverage here in Orchard Park. Flag behind the play, and yet the clock stops again.
So let's see what the marker is down here. That was thrown. That was
way
thrown
behind
from,
the play.
Yeah, that was thrown from. It was thrown from where the umpire was. Side judge didn't have that one, so let's see what referee Matt Palma has in store. Pass interference on the south, so.
Oh, that was made from a long way away.
Yeah.
The intended receiver.
And Coach Delaney and his South staff is kind of arguing that right now. Like, hey, that was. You threw that flag from, well, left field, literally.
You make the call.
Yeah, I mean, he had his hand on his hip. So, yeah, I suppose it's, you know.
Anyway, Ferguson back to pass. Swings it out. Pass complete to Slango.
I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen the. You know, and my argument on that sideline in that play would have been, hey, well, you're looking right at it, and you're right there, and you didn't call it, and the flag came all the way back there.
That's what I mean.
Is that really your call?
Yeah.
You know, I kind of that would have been
you
the
defer. Yeah, to the official.
But I'm not really into the arguing with officials thing. I just kind of. You just kind of coach the situation you're given. I don't really feel like lobbying calls.
See if that changes when you become a head coach this year.
Yeah, I only had one. I've
only
had one problem with one official in my life, and that, you know, more focused on where I stand as opposed to what's going on the field.
Ferguson turned his receiver around, incomplete.
Ferguson's pass is incomplete.
63 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter.
I don't even want to know. But a big third down here, and again, I mean, it seems like the tempo has just been driven to a grinding halt.
Grinding halt. The first half was some of the best entertaining high school football we've seen in a long time, and flags in the third quarter, cramping, injuries, more flags, long third and fourth downs, a lot of passing to try to convert those long third and fourth downs, incomplete passes. I mean, it's been a marathon here in the second half. Third and long, speaking of which. Call it 9 yards. They can get a first down without having to score. Ferguson takes the snap, rolls to his right, feels some pressure, hangs on, tried to tuck it away, now pulls it up and is forced out of bounds.
Great defense, too. Chris Finney, again. Jason Bunk was initially in pursuit, but Chris Finney did a great job, and I'll tell you what, you know, we're going to be getting into MVP talk soon, and he's certainly one that more than willing and more than worth the effort. So we're going to get a timeout here from the north, and here's Coach Krasansky wants to kind of get everybody on the same page in the huddle here to take a shot at it.
Good look at Coach Krasansky. And Trent Ferguson trying to stay hydrated. That's been the name of the game here, especially in the second half, which is funny because once the sun goes down, you think it would cool off, but it's still pretty warm down in the field.
Yeah, and the humidity, I mean, it's, again, heat is not really the issue you deal with. It's humidity, because that just wears on you. You know, I mean, obviously there's heat regulations, but it's not about temperature. It's about heat index, real feel, and the humidity just drives that right up. You know, so, I mean, okay, yeah, the temperature may be 75, but it feels like it's 85, and then you add some more on the turf.
Fourth down and long. Ferguson takes the snap. Looks downfield, flushed out of the pocket, chased down, going toward the sidelines. Nothing there. And the North is going to turn the ball over on downs. And yes, that should be the ball game with 48 seconds to go.
Great coverage from the South. And I'll tell you what, you looked at it on paper, you're like, man, how are those guys, you know, the Rosiniaks of the world, you know, Rosiniak wasn't even recommended to get in the game. Got in there, and, you know, Nathaniel Hyman was a late addition with some kids that dropped out. And, you know, Ryback and Anderson, you're like, how are these guys going to cover Shaq Nettles and Bonnie Taylor and Denzel Benton? Wow, and I'll tell you what, they have just done a phenomenal job. You know, our hats off to their efforts, because they played a tremendous game, and I love the game that Nick Anderson played out of JFK. And
on 3 different occasions in the first half, the North had the lead, but it was never any more than 7. It was 7-0, then 7-7, 14-7, 14-14, 21-14. Then with the safety, it was 21-16. The South took their first lead with only 1.9 seconds to go in the first half on Smagera's touchdown pass to Barsikowski that covered 20 yards. And after that, the South never looked back, adding 2 more touchdowns in the fourth quarter after a scoreless third quarter. And it's 37-21. They'll take a couple of knees and walk away as the 2013 Kensington Lions Club champions.
And I'll tell you what, if we revert back to that area where it was right down there on the side, you know, I did mention that, hey, this is fourth down. It'll be crucial because if the South scores, North gets the ball back. And they were in a rhythm at that time. They were moving the ball and scoring at will. And then all of a sudden that safety occurred, and they got the ball back. And now, hey, that was such a swing. That was a 9-point swing potentially that went into South's favor and obviously made the difference in this game tonight. Congratulations to Timmy Delaney. Heck of a job, buddy.
South All-Star quarterback right there, Andy Smagera, sets a new Kensington Lions Club All-Star game record, tossing 5 touchdown passes here today. Our final score, the South beats the North 37-21. We'll be back with some post-game thoughts coming up next in Orchard Park, right here on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.
All-Star game. The South All-Stars knock off the North All-Stars by the final score of 37-21. And the young man to my right is the offensive MVP for the South, Andy Smagera. Andy, in 38 years of the Kensington Lions All-Star game, no one has thrown 5 touchdown passes. No one threw more than 3. What does that mean to you?
It's big for me. I mean, we really didn't have any other quarterbacks on the roster, so I knew I was going to get a lot of playing time and get a lot of reps. And my receivers made some great plays, the line made some great blocks, and it all worked out.
Are you better throwing on the run than in the pocket? You more comfortable out there?
Yeah, during the season I was, but today, I stayed in the pocket a little bit more, didn't run as much, tried to save my legs, and worked out.
Big-time halftime adjustments. What were the keys to victory tonight?
Just for all of us, just keep working, play as brothers. And as All-Stars, we've only played for 2 weeks together, and you don't really develop that brotherhood you don't think you do, but we did over a 2-week period, and we just stuck together.
All right, Andy, congratulations. Great game tonight.
Thank you.
We'll take a break, come back with some final thoughts. It's 37-21, the final. The South All-Stars beat the North on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.
on. 10 seconds. What are we doing? 10 seconds. Under the lights here at Orchard Park High School, our colleague Mike Scott getting dumped on after interviewing our player of the game, Andy Smigera, and why not? An obvious selection for player of the game. 5 touchdown passes, a new Kensington Lions Club game record as the South goes on to beat the North 37-21. Down on the field for a final thought as our post-game coverage continues alongside Sean Brusso. I'm David Miller. The South didn't take their first lead of the game until Corey Barsikowski hauled in a 20-yard touchdown pass with just 1.9 seconds left in the first half of play. There was no scoring in the third quarter. 2 more touchdowns for the South in the fourth quarter. And boy, what a tale of 2 different halves, really. Good first half, good flow, good tempo, up and down, back and forth. Second half, wow, flags, dehydration, cramping, just a story of 2 different halves.
Yeah, and it's kind of pretty much how it goes with this game because it's a longer game. It's a hot, muggy night here in July, and you know that's kind of one of the factors you have to deal with. And I mean, and you put in the turf and on top of it. You know, it's certainly a challenge, and you know, you would have thought with the South having a smaller roster, it would have affected them more, and really, it didn't. It was kind of surprising, and a great effort from the South. Obviously, Andy Smigera, what a great game.
South beats the North 37-21, and that'll do it for us. For my broadcast partner, Sean Brusso, sideline reporter Mike Scott, producer David D, and the entire Time Warner Cable Sports Channel crew, my name is David Miller. Thanks a lot for watching, and good night from Orchard Park.